A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. Mary left for Chicago to see Dr. DeRoy, a famous specialist, and she hoped to persuade to come to Sanders and examine Phyllis, Max's crippled sister. She is unaware of the fact that the doctor has reserved seats on a plane leaving Chicago at 8 o'clock. Ironically enough, Mary's plane arrives in Chicago at 8. As Mary speeds along to what will no doubt be a great disappointment, things have been happening at home. As you'll recall, Max, Mary's husband, was once somewhat of a hoodlum. His love for Mary changed him into a devoted husband and father. But a few months ago, a gambler by the name of Cheney came to Sanders and involved him in a gambling syndicate. Max pretended to be friendly with the gang in order to apprehend the ringleaders, but his intentions were misunderstood, and he was arrested as one of the mob while Cheney escaped. Yesterday, this man Cheney paid Max a surprising visit. He told Max he wanted to give himself up. This puts Max in a terrible predicament, because once Cheney is in jail, Max will have to stand trial along with him, and it is quite possible that with the circumstantial evidence against him, Max may receive a severe prison sentence. There we find Cheney and Max still discussing Cheney's startling decision. The storm is raging outside, but a storm of a different nature is raging inside the hearts of these two men. Max has just told Cheney,
Carol, you can't change the world. The whole thing's run kind of like a card game. Somebody has to lose so the other fellow can win. That's the way life is, that's all. We just have to play the game the best way we know how. The fellow that loses shouldn't squawk.
I guess you think I'm squawking, Max, because you turned around and got yourself the kind of life I'd like.
No, I don't. I can't blame you for wanting to go straight. Any guy with brains can see that that's a smart thing to do.
But the way things stand with us, if I give myself up, you might have to go back to jail, too, huh?
Well, what can I tell you, Kenny? I can't tell you to stay a mug and keep on playing hide and seek with the cops, and someday one of them tags you with a piece of lead. I can't say that.
You're in a spot, pal. I wish your lady was here. I'd like to talk it over with her.
Yeah, Mary might think of something.
She'd say I ought to get myself up.
I guess she would. She likes things to be on the left.
When do you expect her back from Chicago?
Well, I don't know. She took the trip to try and do something for Phyllis. Depends on how quick she does it.
Say, how is the little lady? I thought about her a lot. And how's her kid? She ought to be big by now.
Now, the baby's fine, but the serum you went after didn't help her much. She's just crippled for life, I guess.
No.
Yeah, that's why Mary went to Chicago. She's trying to get some famous doctor to come and take a look at her. We've been trying to get him for weeks, and we couldn't get any action.
You mean he didn't come running to help the little lady?
He didn't even answer our phone call. Mary says he probably didn't get him. And I don't know, he's a big shot.
A big shot, eh?
Yeah, Mary's going to try and talk to him. Maybe she'll get him to come in. Well, maybe she won't.
I don't see why he should be so tough. That little lady deserves the best there is. Oh, you remember that night her baby was born?
Boy, I won't forget that man a long time. I was so nervous I bounced.
Yeah, me too. Having babies is an awful strain on a guy.
Yeah. Hey, you were terrific, though, pal. Oh, when the doc said he needed that bug juice to save her life, you hopped in your plane and got it here pronto. Just like in the movie.
So what? It didn't do much good?
Well, you still have her with her. You wouldn't have if you hadn't given us a hand.
Maybe she's got a chance to be cured, Max. You know the gag about while there's life?
Yeah, we got plenty of hope. That's about all that kept us going.
Did your wife think this fancy doc she went after can get the little lady back on her feet?
Well, she don't know. Nobody does. I'm here to let Mary make the trip to Chicago, but I couldn't go on account of being out on bail.
Say, as long as she's there, maybe I'll take a run up and get her advice on what I ought to do.
No, don't do that, Cheney. Mary's got enough on her hands right now.
Well, I'd like to get some advice somewhere. I got to decide pretty quick.
Well, you do what you want, Cheney. Your life, and I can't tell you how to live it.
What's that? You got mice here?
No, maybe it's Daddy. He's staying overnight with me. I'll go see. Hey, Daddy. Daddy, you called me? Hey. Must be asleep. I guess we don't hear anything. Say, who left the front door open? Hey, Chaney, did you? Hey, Chaney, where'd you go? Hey, pal. Are you out there? Come on, Rick. Take it easy. Hey, wait a second. He's gone. I wonder what he's going to do. I couldn't tell him not to get himself up, but it's sure an awful break to have him come back right now of all times. Here I got the new factory on my hands. The fellow needs this doctor. I need money for the whole family. If Kenny goes and turns himself in, they put me in jail, and I won't be able to do a thing.
Now, while Max ponders what action the strange man Cheney will take, let's travel to the Plaza Dearborn Hotel in Chicago, where Dr. DeRoy is stopping. Mary has just come in.
May I help you, madam?
Oh, thank you. I was looking for the house, sir.
Yeah, it's just over here to your right.
Thank you. I wonder if you could give me Dr. DeRoy's room number.
It was Suite 316, but the doctor has checked out. He left for New York on the 8 o'clock plane.
Oh, are you sure he left?
Positive. I heard his secretary make the reservations myself.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Well, perfectly welcome. No, Larry, I'm so sorry for that girl that just left. It looked as if the bottom had fallen out of everything.
What was mine, Mr. Bolton?
He wanted to see 316, but he's checked out.
316, Dr. DeRoy?
Yeah. Took the 8 o'clock plane to New York.
No, he didn't. He just stole. He got on plane transport. He's not leaving until tomorrow.
Oh, let's see if you can catch her. Yeah, she's just going toward the door.
Yes, sir. Miss, just a minute, please.
Are you calling me?
Yes, there's been a mistake. Dr. DeRoy is still here.
What?
Yes, you've just come to the desk. Mr. Barnes is trying to reach him for you.
Oh, thank you. I will.
I'm awfully sorry this happened, madam. Through some oversight, I wasn't informed that Dr. DeRoy is staying
Oh, that's all right, as long as he's here. I'm so relieved to know that.
I'll ring him for you. Who shall I say is calling?
Mr. Sanders. He doesn't know me, but tell him it's urgent that I speak to him.
I'll be glad to. Hello. Connect me with 316. Thank you. I imagine his secretary will answer. Do you wish to talk to him?
Yes, anyone connected with the doctor.
Hello, 316? There's a Mrs. Sanders calling Dr. DeRoy. Shall I put her on? Thank you. Just a moment. Mr. Hopper, his secretary, will speak to you. Just pick up one of the house phones.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Hopper. This is Mrs. Sanders.
Yes, Mrs. Sanders. What did you wish?
I'd like to speak to the doctor, if I may. I'm anxious to have him see a young girl who needs his attention.
Oh, I'm very sorry, but it is too late for the doctor to take any case here in America. We sail for Switzerland first.
But, Mr. Hopper, I'm sure he'd want to help this girl if he knew the circumstances.
Madame, I, too, am sure he would be only too glad to do what he could if he was staying in America.
Oh, couldn't I please speak to the doctor personally?
So that is impossible. The doctor is very busy.
But I'll only take a few minutes of his time. Please.
Sorry, madame.
Tell him I'm a friend of Mr. Jeffrey Barton. I think Mr. Barton told him about this girl.
Just a moment. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, he must, please. I just can't go back to Sanders without him.
Hello? Are you there?
Yes. Did you speak to the doctor?
Yes. He remembers Mr. Barton mentioning the case, but he regrets that time will not permit him to see her.
Oh, what does time matter? Someone's life is more important.
My dear madame, I'm sure there are very good doctors here in America. Take her to any one of those.
But she has such confidence in Dr. DeRoy. She's heard so much about him. I know if I talk to him, I can make him understand.
Madame, it is absolutely impossible. The doctor must retire early because we are leaving on a 6 o'clock plane tomorrow morning.
You won't let me speak to him for just a moment?
I cannot. I'm very sorry. Goodbye.
No, wait, please. You don't seem to understand. I came a long way to see the doctor, and I must see him. I'll sit right here in this lobby until I do.
Well, it looks as if Mary is going to have a difficult time trying to see the doctor. She's determined she will see him, but his secretary seems equally determined that the doctor must not be disturbed. We're very much afraid Mary may be in for some heartbreaking disappointment. We wonder, too, how she'd feel if she knew about Cheney's strange visit. It seems that the old adage about it never rains but it pours is true right now.
Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
In the beginning, there was Jordan, thinking his lonely thoughts. Out of the loneliness came a longing. Out of the longing came a vision. Out of the dream came a planning. And out of the planning came decision. Jordan's hand was lifted, and the ship was born.
You, look out! Are you all right? Yes, it missed me. What was it? A mutant with a slingshot. I think it dashed down that passageway. You want to go after it? We'd never catch it, Alan. It's probably 12 decks above us by now.
I didn't think they ever came down this far. Patrols usually get them before they reach this level.
They get more daring with each generation. This one looked like a female.
Male or female, it might have killed us. I told you this trip was pure foolishness. Climbing 24 deck levels to hear a crazy old man rave.
We're almost there now. Compartment X15, level 24. This is the place.
This area smells as if it hadn't been visited by a sanitation crew for generations.
This part of the ship is almost deserted.
Yes?
This is the compartment of John the Witness.
Who are you?
My name is Hugh Hoyland. I'm a cadet from the scientist barrack. This is my friend Alan Mahoney.
What do you want of John the Witness?
Only to talk.
Are you a believer in Jordan?
Naturally.
I have heard that there are those among the younger scientists who doubt the word of Jordan.
To doubt is death. We're not heretics.
Enter.
I have brought a gift of tobacco, grown on the richest level.
It smells good.
I assure you it's the best.
Wait here.
What a rat's nest. What the devil do you think he can tell you?
I don't know. Now, hush.
Well?
You are John the Witness?
I am?
Good eating to you. I am Hugh Hoyland. This is my friend Alan Mahoney.
What brings a gentleman of the scientist class to my humble apartment?
I have heard that you and your parents before you have long been keepers of the legend of the ship.
Since Jordan gave the word.
I am anxious to hear the word as Jordan spoke it.
Why?
You see, among the young scientists, there have been some who talk against the word.
Regulations against such heresy?
Some of them say the ship has no purpose. They say that we're here accidentally. That we have no more grace in Jordan's eyes than the most deformed mutant who dwells in the highest level of the ship.
What shall I say to you?
I wish to hear the word from the mouth of one who knows, that I may become more convinced.
Sit. You have gift for the witness?
The finest tobacco.
Good. I will dim the light. Now, pay close attention, for these are the words as my father's father's father gave them to his son's son's son. This is how the ship came into being, how our people were created. In the beginning, there was only Jordan, thinking his lonely thoughts. In the beginning there was darkness, formless and dead. Out of the loneliness came a longing. Out of the longing came a vision. Out of the dream came a planning. And out of the planning came decision. Jordan's hand was lifted, and the ship was born. Mile
after mile of good compartments, tank after tank for golden corn, ladder and passage, door and locker, fit for the needs of the yet unborn. He looked on his work and found it pleasing, meet for a race that was yet to be. He thought of man, and man came into being. Then Jordan checked his thought and searched for a key. Man untamed would shame his maker. Man unruled would spoil the plan. So Jordan made the regulations, some to speak and some to listen. Order came to the ranks of men. Crew he created to work at their stations, scientists to guide the plan. Over them all he created captain, made him judge of the race of man. Thus it was in the golden
age. These are the true words?
As my father's father taught them.
But what of the strange beast-like people on the upper levels of the ship? Surely Jordan did not create them.
Jordan is perfect. All below him lack perfection. You have heard of the legend of Huff?
I have heard that he mutinied against Jordan.
Darkness swallowed the ways of virtue. Sin prevailed upon the ship. And before wisdom prevailed and the bodies of Huff and his followers were fed into the converter, some of the rebels escaped and lived to father the mutants. They are tainted with the sins of their fathers.
One more question, witness.
Speak.
What is the ship?
The ship is a great sphere, 25 kilometers wide and 100 levels deep.
I know that, but what about the upper levels?
The regulations forbid us to venture into the upper levels, but it is said that beyond the levels of the mutants lies the forbidden place where Jordan's spirit prevails.
So I've heard. But something troubles me. Something which prompted my coming here.
Yes, my son.
What lies beyond the ship?
What?
What lies beyond the ship?
This is heresy.
Answer me.
I will not permit such talk. The ship is complete. The ship is universal. The ship is everywhere. The ship is endless.
Your mutterings are those of a frightened old man. They answer nothing.
You question the word?
I think you lie.
Hear me, Mr. Highland. For what you have already said, I can have your body fed to the converter, your soul launched on the endless trip.
You threaten me.
You, for Jordan's sake.
You think I fear this dried fig of a man?
You. Sir, my friend is impetuous. He doesn't understand.
I might be persuaded to forget a substantial gift.
You pig. You. Come on, Alan. The sight of this so-called holy man offends me.
No, you shall not leave.
Don't try to frighten me with a gun, old man.
Remain where you are, heretic.
I warn you, put down the gun.
No. No closer.
Drop it.
Very well, then. Dip through the heretic.
Alan, get him! Is he dead?
I don't know. Come on, Hugh. We've got to get out of here. Now where? We can't go back. They'd feed us into the converter. What's that?
The old woman must have turned in an alarm. Come on, the patrol will be here in no time.
Where can we go?
The upper levels.
But the mutant.
We'll have to take our chance. Listen, that's the patrol we've got to climb.
There's the hatchway. Down the corridor.
Quickly.
Halt! Halt, we fire!
The ladder.
How far are we from the outside wall?
Judging by the slope of the deck, about 2 miles. Mutant territory. Come on, we'll try this passageway.
Hugh.
What?
I don't know. I feel as if we're being watched.
It's your imagination.
Perhaps not.
Oh! It's only a ship's rat. Get a grip on yourself.
This is as big as a dog.
Come on.
I can't drag myself much further.
We've got to find a compartment with water.
Oh, if only you hadn't asked him that stupid question.
There's no use going over that.
Why did you do it?
Why? Alan, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And when he began to give me those stupid pat answers, well, I just saw red, I guess.
But who are you to question the ways of Jordan? When you asked me to go with you to visit the witness, I thought you wanted spiritual help. I never dreamed
I'm sorry, Alan. I couldn't foresee this. I didn't know it.
Wait a minute.
Oh, what? Another shipwreck?
No. I thought I saw something move near that bulkhead.
I didn't see anything.
Maybe my eyes are going bad still. Listen. You behind?
Alan, look out!
Where am I? What are you?
Get away from me! Alan! Alan! Look out for that knife! Stay away from me, Alan! Alan!
Don't kill him, Bobo. Not yet.
Who are you?
Forgive my friend Bobo. Like so many of my people, he's rather impetuous where members of the so-called super race are concerned.
Who are you? What place is this?
As you can guess from my leg, I'm a mutant.
Where is Alan?
Your friend is dead. I was not able to restrain my people in time to save him.
Why don't you destroy me and get it over with?
We do not kill for pleasure, Mr. Hoyland, only when necessary.
You know my name?
I read your identification tag.
Who are you? Mutants can't read.
My name is Gregory. I'm a leader of my people. Although we are unfortunate in our heredity, Mr. Hoyland, many of us are quite intelligent.
Why do you live like animals?
We would rather live like free animals than like regimented slaves, as you do.
I've heard that you practice cannibalism.
Undoubtedly, you hear many things about us. We raise our own cattle on the upper levels, and those of our people who choose to farm raise enough crops for our small population. You turn your head. Why?
This one. I've never seen a creature like him.
Bobo is an unfortunate. He was born without the power of speech.
How can you tolerate a monstrosity?
We have learned to live with difference. If we began to destroy our imperfects as you do on the lower levels, there would soon be no one left.
It violates the regulations. The word of Jordan
You know, Mr. Hoyland, your people are really primitive and barbaric.
You dare say that to me?
I dare say a good deal more. Let us go to my compartment and speak further. I'm always interested in information of the lower levels.
I won't give you any information.
Bobo, I want Mr. Hoyland in my cabin, please. I advise you to go quietly, Mr. Hoyland. Bobo has a hatred of superior beings, which is unfortunate, but quite understandable. Proceed. Enter, Mr. Hoyland.
This is where you live?
Yes.
But you have books.
Stolen from your libraries, Mr. Hoyland.
Compton's Astrophysics. The Philosophy of Interstellar Navigation. Celestial Mechanics. You have read these?
Most of them.
Why did you bring me here? What do you intend to do?
Do you believe in Jordan, Mr. Hoyland?
There is no other belief.
And the trip? I suppose you believe in the trip, too.
Well, what else is there to believe? When you die, your remains are fed to the converter, and your soul makes the trip.
And where does the trip take you?
Why, to Centaurus, of course.
Huh? And what is Centaurus?
Why, Centaurus, mind you, I'm just telling you the orthodox answer. Centaurus is where you arrive when you've made the trip. A place where everything is happy and everybody's happy and there's always good eating. It's mythological, of course.
And you believe this?
The peasants believe it, literally, but many of the younger scientists like myself know that it's figurative, symbolic. Why do you ask?
Didn't it ever occur to you, Mr. Hoyland, that the trip is exactly what your peasants believe it is? That the ship and all the crew were actually going someplace. Moving.
The ship can't go anywhere. It already is everywhere.
Imagine a place bigger than the ship, much bigger, with the ship inside it, moving inside.
But there can't be any place bigger than the ship. There wouldn't be any place for it to be.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Listen, you know the lowest level?
Yes.
If you started digging a hole in the lowest level, where would that hole go?
Where would that hole... Oh, no. No, it's forbidden to think such a thought.
Where would it go?
No, I can't think about it.
Bobo, we're going to take Mr. Hoyland to the place.
Where are we going?
To the top level.
But it's certain death.
Nonsense. I've been there 1,000 times. Come along.
No, I won't. You can't make me.
I think we can. Now, shall we proceed peacefully, or shall I have Bobo persuade you? Open the door, Bobo. Inside.
What place is this?
This, Mr. Hoyland, is the main control room. Why, Mr. Hoyland, you're trembling.
It isn't true. There is no such place except in mythology.
You younger men are so wise, Mr. Hoyland, except for one thing. This happens to be the main control room of the ship.
But it's nothing but a huge room with an instrument panel.
What did you expect?
How do you know this is the main control room?
See these instruments? Using them, the navigator, many hundreds of years ago, actually steered the ship on its voyage.
I don't understand.
I didn't suppose you would. Your people have been so steeped in superstition and ignorance that the whole concept has lost its meaning. Sit in that chair. Don't be frightened. Sit down.
Very well.
Look up. What do you see?
Nothing but a huge shield.
Watch it for one moment, Mr. Hoyland. You are going to see something that few of us have ever been privileged to witness. Something so dazzling that you may find it hard to accept at first. But it is there. It is a reality. And ultimately you must accept it.
What are you doing?
I'm dimming the lights. Don't be frightened. Keep your eyes focused on the shield above us. Ready? Watch.
The shield! It's sliding back! Ghost of Jordan!
Well?
What am I seeing?
The universe, Mr. Hoyland. The universe in all its beauty. The stars, the planets, the suns, the moons, and the constellations. This is your heritage, Mr. Hoyland. The heritage you've been too stupid to see.
But it can't be. The ship is the universe. There is nothing but the ship.
But there it is. You see it before your eyes, spread out like a canopy of glory. You still deny it? Answer me, Mr. Hoyland. Do you deny it?
No, I can't. They lied. They lied to us.
Good.
Why did you close the shield?
You will see it again if you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Many times. I've shown this to others of your people whom we captured, and though they saw it before their very eyes, they would not believe it.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the ship, about the universe. What are these things? How did this come about?
Many thousands of years ago, on a planet like those you've just seen, a planet called Earth, a scientist named Jordan decided to build a ship that would carry men from one planet to another. For many years, Jordan and thousands of others studied and planned. And when they were finished, they built the ship. A ship so large that it had to be assembled in its own orbit beyond the place called the moon. 60 years it took them to construct. And when it was finished, a whole new science had been conceived. Then the trip was begun. The trip that was to land a colony of Earthmen on a far-off planet called Centaurus, millions of light years beyond the furthest planet ever reached before.
How do you know these things?
Among my books are the log which Jordan himself kept, and the records of the journey for the first 40 years.
What happened?
There was a mutiny. A man named Huth led a rebellion of those who wanted to turn back. In the struggle, the navigators were killed, and the crew fell into a state of anarchy. In the years to follow, small groups of men tried to organize the ship for navigation, and each time they failed. Finally, the whole idea was abandoned. And so for centuries, we have swung in space, unmanned, undirected, living in a lost world of our own making, without purpose, without direction.
Why have you told me this? Why have you brought me here? You could have killed me.
Can you guess?
No. No, I can't. Unless... But it would be too fantastic.
Well?
You want to finish the trip. Yes, that's it. What would it take to do it?
A miracle, almost. The crew would have to be trained. Many people, each skilled in a certain duty.
Couldn't you train your own people?
We are too few. Besides, the main drivers in the lower levels where my people are forbidden to go. No. It would mean that both our peoples would have to work together. Our differences encouraged rather than denied.
It can be done. You showed me. You can show others. I can show them.
Can you?
I'll see the captain himself. I have an uncle on the central board. I'll tell him what I've seen here.
And do you think he'll believe you?
Send one of your people with me.
That's asking a good deal.
I'm risking a good deal by going back.
Very well. Bobo will go with you.
He can't talk.
There will be no need for talk. I will write a message guaranteeing safe conduct for a group of unarmed scientists to visit the main control room. Bobo will take you safely through our territory. What happens when you reach your own level is up to you.
One moment. Yes, what you...
Quick, Uncle, let us in.
But this mutant...
He's harmless, please.
Now, what is this? You're wanted
I know all about that. Listen, Uncle, I must see the captain.
The captain? Are you mad?
You're a council member. You can get me to see him.
They'll kill you. You're wanted for heresy.
I don't care. I must speak with the captain. You're close to him. You can arrange it.
I don't understand why...
Uncle, listen to me. The ship is moving. I can prove it. Do you understand? There is a purpose in the ship.
I don't understand what you're babbling about.
Never mind. Just talk to the captain. Tell him I have information of tremendous importance. Tell him I've arranged a truce with the mutants.
A truce?
Here, show him this paper signed by their leader. Do it, Uncle, for my sake.
I don't know.
Please, Uncle. If I'm to die, let this be my last request to you.
Very well. I'll speak to the captain. I'll try.
And you say, Mr. Harlan, that you saw this with your own eyes?
I swear it, Captain. I swear it on the word of Jordan.
Let me see that paper again. What do you think, Commander Erst?
I don't know, sir. It might be a trick.
I guarantee you safe conduct.
If these things are as Mr. Harlan reports them, it would pay to risk a few lives.
The man is a convicted heretic.
Still, we mustn't discount his word entirely. He has a safe conduct. The mutant risked its life coming with him. I think we might investigate.
You will do it?
I'll have an expedition outfitted. Dismissed, Mr. Harlan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Captain, do you...
Commander Erst.
Sir.
You'll make the necessary arrangements for an expedition. I trust you understand.
Perfectly, sir. Perfectly.
Mr. Hoyland.
You'd better halt your men here. This is the spot.
Patrol, halt. I see no welcoming party of mutants.
There will be none. Their leader will meet you inside the main control room.
You don't say. And just where is this main control room?
Beyond that door.
I see. All right, men. Ready arms.
Why do you ready arms?
In case of ambush.
Ambush? Don't you think they could have ambushed you on the way up here a good deal more easily?
You know, Mr. Hoyland, I think you're a muty lover. They have a place in the converter for that kind.
Lieutenant, are you mad?
No, Mr. Hoyland. But most certainly you are. To think that we could be lured up here to be slaughtered with a fantastic story about some mythical control room.
Guns ready, sir.
Lieutenant, I warn you, these people have acted in good faith. If you break
Call
that
the
faith now...
mutants to open the control room, Mr. Hoyland.
No, not until those guns are dismounted.
As leader of this expedition, I order you to call them.
I refuse. You cannot do this thing. This is no way to keep a truce.
Very well, if you refuse. Oh, there! Mutant! Come out!
For Jordan's sake, Lieutenant.
Too quiet for comfort. Mutant! Open the door!
Please, Jordan, don't let anything happen. Please don't.
It's opening. Ready, men. Someone's coming out.
Look at his leg.
Horrible. Steady.
He's walking toward us.
I can't stand this.
Look out!
Gregory! No! You fools! You've killed him!
Here come the rest of them. Fire! That should teach them a lesson they won't forget. All right, men. Inside the room. Hoyland, you're under arrest as a conspirator in this ambush.
Ambush, you fool, you blind, stupid fool.
That'll be enough. Have you been inside this place before?
Yes.
What's all this machinery?
These are the controls he would have used to steer the ship.
He's gone out of his mind, Lieutenant.
Steer the ship?
Who? The leader. The one you killed.
This ugly mutant?
This ugly mutant happened to be a man of true greatness.
You're mad.
Am I? This man had a vision which could have saved you, but you chose to kill him because you couldn't stand the sight of his difference from you.
I'll not listen to these ravings.
Close your ears. Shut your minds against the conscience that tells you it's wrong to kill. That tells you that your need to be arrogant only proves your inadequacy to yourself.
Shut him up. Don't listen to him, man.
You can't shut your ears. My words sting you. You cannot shut your mind. And you cannot shut your eyes. Don't do this.
The roof. It's moving back.
Look. Let the vision of this confound your ignorance and blind your eyes. This is the heritage you tried to stifle in your own breasts. This is the heritage of stars and open skies for which men have yearned for centuries. Try to destroy this, and you will only destroy yourselves.
Death to the heretic.
Kill me if you choose. But I say to you that this you cannot keep from our people, that they will seek it out, and the ship will be manned, and the ship will be steered, and there will be freedom and purpose and respect for ourselves. This is your heritage. Look upon the universe. Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
This has been the concluding broadcast in the current series of Dimension X. If you are interested in the continuation of this series, please write and tell us so. Your ideas and suggestions will be given the most thoughtful consideration in determining the future of this program. Just drop a letter or postcard to Dimension X, care of NBC, Radio City, New York.
Today, Dimension X has transcribed Universe, written for radio by George Lefferts and based on a story by Robert Heinlein. Featured in the cast were Mason Adams as Hugh and Peter Capell as Gregory. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Bert Berman. Engineer Bill Chambers. Sound created by Manny Siegel, Max Russell, and Wes Conant. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King. Ed Archie Gardner tangles with Tallulah Bankhead on The Big Show.
We present now a special transcribed Christmas message from the President of the United States to the American people.
My fellow countrymen, all over our country and in many other parts of the world, men, women, and children are preparing to celebrate the birthday of Christ. Never before in our lives has a Christmas seemed so important. I'm not thinking of turkey dinners and stacks of gifts. I mean the quiet, reverent celebration of faith, hope, and love, born in a manger in Bethlehem. Across all the continents of this world, peace-loving people today feel apprehension and loneliness and fear. Many have forgotten the humble surroundings of the Nativity and how, from a straw-littered stable, shone a light which for nearly 20 centuries has given men strength, comfort, and peace of mind. At this Christmas time, we should renew our faith in God. We celebrate the hour in which God came to man. It is fitting that we should turn to Him. Many of us are fortunate enough to celebrate Christmas at our own fireside. But there are many others who are away from their homes and loved ones on this day. Thousands of our boys are on the cold and dreary battlefield of Korea. But all of us, at home, at war, wherever we may be, are within reach of God's love and power. We can all pray. All of us should pray. We should ask the fulfillment of God's will. We should ask for courage, for wisdom, for the quietness of soul which comes alone to them who place their lives in His hands. We should pray for a peace which is based on righteousness. The nation already is in the midst of a crusade of prayer. On the last Sunday of the old year, there will be special services devoted to a revival of faith in God. I call upon all of you to enlist in this common cause. I call upon you no matter what your spiritual allegiance may be. We're all joined in the fight against the tyranny of communism. Communism is godless. Democracy is the foundation of faith. Faith in oneself, faith in one's neighbors, faith in God. Democracy's most powerful weapon is not a gun, a tank, or a bomb. It is faith. Faith in the brotherhood and dignity of man under God. Let us pray at this Christmas time for the wisdom, the humility, and the courage to carry on in this faith.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard President Truman's Christmas message to the American people. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
In answer to many thousands of requests from its listeners, the National Broadcasting Company is happy to bring you Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense. Dimension X.
This is a story of Riesling, the singer of the spaceways. You've probably sung his songs in school, in English, French, or German. The language doesn't matter, but it was an earth tongue. But the real story of Riesling is not found in the footnotes of a scholar's critique or a publisher's biography. It is in the memories of the old-time spacemen, the pioneers who pushed the thundering old-fashioned rockets to the far, strange ports that are our commonplace heritage. These men know the true story of Riesling.
The arctic sky is calling spacemen back to their trade. All hands stand by, free falling, and the lights below us fade. Outride the sons of terror, far drives the thundering jet, up leaps the race of earthmen, out far and onward yet.
When I first met Riesling, he was hustling drinks in the Twin Moons Bar at Drywater, Mars. He'd won a guitar off a Chinese barkeep at Luna City by cheating at one thumb, and he made his whiskey by singing in the bar and passing the hat.
Listen to her, Hudson. Don't she strum pretty? Like a 16-year-old gal.
Hey, how much you collect on that last song?
$3 Martian and a slug. Al grabbed it from my bill. He don't trust me no more. Funny, never did have no luck with hound dogs nor Martian barkeep.
Hey, Riesling, look over there by the bar. There's an Institute 4 striper giving it the eye. Know him?
Captain Hicks off the Goshawk.
He's sure giving you the once over.
Maybe he's got a job. They don't make never no mind to me. I've been blacklisted. Hicks logged me for making up a song on watch. Right fine song, too.
Hold it. Here comes the brass horn.
Riesling, I've been looking for you.
I've been right here, Skipper. You saw to that.
I need a jetman on the Goshawk.
Interesting. Real interesting.
Well?
I got news for you, Skipper. You blacklisted me, remember?
Well, you've kept your nose clean, and we need an experienced man.
Been a little changing down aft in the Goshawk, ain't there, Skipper?
How'd you know that?
You got that new atomic pile drive. Last 3 of them tea kettles blew somewhere in the asteroids.
Look, it's double pay, but if you're scared...
Scared? Listen, fella. For double pay, I'd jump off the top of the Harriman Tower if you allowed me rubber heels for the landing.
All right, then. You show up tonight to sign the book. Sober.
Got no choice, Skipper. Money and me is total strangers.
We lift at 11:30 Mars time. Sober, you understand, Riesling?
You taking the job?
Well, that Goshawk is one stinking old tub. Her engine's got more bugs than a beagle dog in spring. And that new drive is about as safe as a pretty gal in the ozone. But I reckon she'll do for one more trip. Welcome home, Riesling. Hi, Jimmy Legs. Meet my friend Hudson. He's signing on as a wiper. This here's Jimmy Legs Casey. He's bosun. Can't hold his liquor no more than a sieve, poor boy.
Casey.
Riesling, you sober enough to sign the book? Drunk or sober, I'll make my mark. Stand aside. 3 X's? It took me a middle name.
Yeah, you 2 lay below. And Hertzman.
Aye, sir.
Get him sobered up before the skipper makes rounds.
Jimmy Legs, I'm sober as a hanging judge.
Yeah? Well, you can leave that bottle here.
What bottle?
The one in your back pocket. Oh, glass buttons, maybe, huh? Give it here.
Jimmy Legs, I swear I'm going to write a song about you.
Go ahead, threaten me. Now get below. We raise ship in 30 minutes.
Skipper?
Riesling, what the devil are you doing up here on the bridge without permission?
Figured I'd take a little stroll.
Riesling, get below before I have...
Hold on, Skipper. You'll have that gold braid just crawling up your arm. I'm up here on business.
Well?
That number 2 jet ain't fit. Cadmium dampers are warped.
Why tell me? Tell the chief engineer.
I did. He says they'll hold.
Well?
He's wrong.
He's wrong. He's got a Harriman Institute degree in power electronics. And some drunk space rat says he's wrong.
Skipper, I was damping jets when that shirt-tailed tad wore pins for buttons.
I've got no time for you, Riesling. Casey, sound takeoff.
Aye, sir.
I'm telling you, Skipper, that number 2 jet's gonna blow. Dampers warped crooked like a turtle's back.
Riesling, drag your deadhead out of here. Get below.
Go ahead from control tower, Captain.
All right, Casey. Fire 1 and 4.
blast for 3 watches before going into free flight. Riesling and I had the second watch. Damping was done by hand in those days with a multiplying vernier and a danger peeper. And as long as the peeper ticked off slow and steady, we knew the ship was safe. For a while. Hey, Riesling, you better stow that guitar. If Jimmy Legs catches it, he'll blow a gasket.
Don't worry, I can damp this tea kettle in my sleep.
How's number 2?
All right so far. Did you ever hear that song about Hicks, the one that got me blacklisted?
Oh, the skipper is the father of his crew, a gentle guiding light to me and you. But on Mars he likes his women if they walk or if they're swimming, or if they've got 6 arms instead of 2.
Hey, the second verse is better.
Now the skipper likes his liquor by the quart. Yes, he'd go from Mars to Venus for a snort. He'll drink rocket fuel and...
Hell, hi, Skip. Didn't see you come in.
You were too busy, eh? Who's watching the gauge?
I got an eye on it. Don't you fret none.
Riesling, I'm going to fix it so you can't get a berth on a rocket-powered pogo stick. Report to Casey under arrest.
I don't rightly think I will.
You what?
You kind of forget, Skipper. According to Space Code, you can't remove a jetman till the end of the watch, right?
Now, look, you corn-fed space lawyer.
Now, is that a rule or ain't it?
Riesling, your shift is over at 2300. And I'll see you ride the rest of the way in slot locker.
Maybe. Maybe. In the meantime, you clear out of my power room. I gotta make me up a 3rd verse for my song.
I got it. Power room. Number 2, a point. Number 2, all right.
Hey, let me have that mic. Jimmy Legs, is that force dry boil up there?
Give me that, Casey. Riesling, I've taken just about enough from you.
And I've got a little news for you, Skipper. Number 2 jet is bulging like a fat lady in a satin skirt.
Listen, you clown, that's
Skipper, I think I'm going to junk my song and start over. I could do much better on you.
This is the last time, Riesling. Damp number 2, a point.
Sure. I got it. I'll take it. You watch the gauge. Now. Easy here. She's bucking a little. Riesling, hit the emergency. She won't damn. It's that force. There go the lights. Riesling, way down behind the baffle. I've got to take a look. It's radioactive. Look out. I've got to piece the hot stuff up the tube.
What's going on down there?
Shut up, Jimmy Legs. I'm busy. She's tight now.
What happened?
Number 2 blew, you lunk-headed space rat.
You all right?
A little sunburned. The lights are gone. What's the matter with the emergency circuits?
Riesling.
Jimmy Legs, get some lights down here. It's dark. Get the emergency light on.
They're on, Riesling. They went on after the blast. The lights are on.
What are you talking about? Jimmy Legs. Jimmy Legs, turn on the lights. It's dark. Turn on the lights.
That blue radioactive glow from the jets was the last thing Riesling ever saw. His optic nerve was burned out in an instant. He was in sick bay on the rest of the trip, and on the swing back, we set Riesling down at dry water Mars. Look out for the cable, Riesling.
Thanks, Hertzman.
Hey, Riesling.
That you, Jimmy Legs?
Hold up a minute, will you? Riesling.
Jimmy Legs, I promised I'd write a song about you, didn't I?
Sure, Riesling, sure.
Can't seem to sing like I used to.
Look, Riesling, the men up on the bridge feel kind of bad about this.
Yeah? Why didn't they think of that when Riesling told them that damper was shot?
Now, Hertzman, that's all over.
Sure. That's all forgotten. Riesling, let's get out of the Twin Moons before I vomit.
Now, hold it. The skipper feels pretty bad about the whole thing, Riesling.
Kind of late for that, Jimmy Legs. Feeling sorry don't hold no corn.
The boys passed the hat. The skipper kicked in half a month's pay.
Did he now? And on principle, I suppose I ought to tell him to stuff it back up the jets. you can't buy no drinking whiskey on principle. I'll take it.
Here you are. I'll get it. Here. I'll be seeing you, Riesling.
Sure, Jimmy Lee. Sure. Come on, Hertzman. Let's get that drink.
That was all. Just another space bum who didn't have the good sense to finish before his luck ran out. Well, Riesling holed up at the Twin Moons till his money was gone. Then he hooked a ride on a crawler over to Marsopolis. It was a boom town then, with an industrial district mushrooming between the Lesser and Grand Canals. I ran into Riesling about 2 months later, playing his guitar on a jetty that ran out into the canal. He had a dirty rag tied over his eyes with a jetman's knot, and his hat was on the wharf beside him.
Riesling! Who's that? Wait a minute. Hertzman.
Yeah, how you been?
Passable. Say, is this a Venusian dime?
No, it's a slug.
I figured.
Well, how's it going? Singing again?
Some. Working saloons mostly. But I've been thinking some funny songs, Hertzman. The words come out different than they used to. Come on along the canal with me.
Sure. Here, take my arm.
I know the way. That's a funny thing, Hertzman. I figure I know it better than other folks. Look back there, towards the city. What do you see?
Factory towers? Smell them from here.
But it don't seem that way to me. I remember them old buildings, old before Bible times on earth. Thin and graceful like the fairy palaces my Grammy used to tell about down home in the hills.
They've torn them down now, or else blocked them up with cinder bricks.
Hertzman, when I stand out here on the canal, I can see it the way it used to be. The water, ice blue with the stars shining up out of it. Way off there, the city with the towers sweeping up like a bird flying off a tree. I can see it.
It's the dirtiest stinkhole in the system.
Not always. Depends on how you see it.
Bone tide the race that raised the towers, forgotten are their lores. Long gone the gods who shed the tears that lap these crystal shores. Slow beats the time-worn heart of Mars beneath this icy sky. The thin air whispers voicelessly that all who live must die.
You make that up. Why don't you go home, Riesling?
Home? Earth. I've been thinking about that, Hertzman. When I was a youngster down in the Ozarks, I used to climb a big old oak tree my daddy had in the dooryard. You could see the hills for miles, green and cool. I've been thinking about that.
Why don't you go back then?
I couldn't see them hills no more now. I couldn't stand to see black when I knew they was lying all around me cool and green in the sun. I couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to town, Hertzman. Today I made $3.50 mush, and I'm all set to drink it down before dawn. Come on!
I lost track of Riesling after that. I shipped out on a slow freight of the Condor class for Luna, and he hitchhiked to ride to Venusburg on an ore ship in the Tri-Planet run. So he beat around the system, Venusburg to Layport to Drywater to New Shanghai and back. Any spaceport was his home, and no skipper had refused to lift the extra mass of Riesling and his battered guitar. He made up his songs, sitting out watches down in the power rooms with old shipmates, while the monotonous beat of the jets shook the hull plates.
Hear the jets,
hear the jets,
hear them snarl at your back when you're stretched on the rack. Hear the jets, feel the pain in your ship, feel the strain in your grip.
Hear the jets,
feel her rise, feel her drive, strange steel come alive
little, his songs began to travel along the spaceways ahead of him. Raw spaceman songs with titles like Since the Pusher Met My Cousin and The Spacesuit Built for Two. But more and more, we began to hear a different kind of song. Strange, sad songs, the ones you find printed in the centennial editions. Dark Star Passing, Death Song of a Woods Cove. And then, finally, The Green Hills of Earth. It grew for 20 years, that song. They say it started way back when Riesling was down in the labor camps on Venus, singing for the indentured men.
Now, if someone will kindly pass a bottle.
Oh, it is not much, Riesling. Here.
It'll do. What is that stuff?
Tequila. You cannot make him good here on Venus.
What do you use?
Carac bush. Home it is... Home it is different.
Where are you from, son?
Tasco, Mexico.
That's a long way from here.
See, a long way.
How'd you come to sign on?
The man comes out to the village from the city in a shining automobile. Very big. He says there is work. You signed the paper for 10 years and you work. Yeah, work. There is work here, all right. 10 stinking hours in the jungle with machete. I tell you, when I get home to Earth...
What'll you do, son?
What is the use? We aren't getting home. You know how many men die out there in the swamp today? 10 men. 10! What is the use? My mother, she's dead. My father don't care.
A girl?
Oh, she says she wait. I don't know.
Sure, son.
You sing some more, Riesling. We drink, you sing.
Maybe a new song, son.
We rot in the molds of Venus. We regurgitated breath. Foul are her flooded jungles, a-crawling with unclean death. Let the...
What is the matter? Finish the song, Riesling.
I can't. Can't yet. It just don't come. I'll finish it when I go home. That's it. When I go home to the hills. Now pass that bottle. The dawn whistle don't blow for 4 hours.
That's where the Green Hills started. And I was there when it was finished. It was 20 years after that. And there wasn't a man flying or on the beach hadn't heard of Riesling and his songs. He was getting old now for a spaceman. He was a familiar figure through the whole system. Tall, gaunt, and with that dirty bandage tied across his blind eyes. I was chief jetman then on the old Falcon. We were cradled at Venus Ellis Isle, scheduled for a direct jump to Great Lakes, Illinois, on Earth. I was checking in dunnage when Riesling felt his way up the gangway and came through the lock.
Riesling! Who's that?
Mike Hertzman.
Hertzman.
Well, what are you doing on this old hog?
I figured I'd ride her back to Earth.
Earth? Are you going home, Riesling? I thought you were never going to make that run.
I've been hankering to set foot in the Ozarks again.
How about those hills?
I've been singing about them so long now, Hertzman. I got to finish the song. I got to set foot in the dooryard and hear the wind through that oak tree. About the last thing I'll be doing. I got to get home before it...
Riesling, there's a new company policy.
You see, now, Hertzman, I'm getting just a little old.
But Riesling, listen. No more deadhead rides. The new code book is in force.
Oh, I seen code books come and go.
The skipper's one of them youngsters fresh out of Harriman Institute cadet training. He's liable to throw the book at you.
At me? I've been around space as long as Halley's Comet and Brewster's Ridge. I'm going back to Earth, the cool green hills of Earth. I'm going home.
All secured, Hertzman. What are you doing here?
That's Riesling, Captain.
Riesling, huh?
I'm dragging it back to Earth, Captain.
Not in this ship. Hertzman, have this man removed.
Funny thing, Captain, I sprained my shoulder suddenly.
Look, Skipper, you're a youngster. You're pretty new out here. I'm going home. You don't know what that means to an old man, going home.
I can't take it. Against the Harriman Code.
Oh, now look, Skipper. You can slide me by under the distressed spaceman's clause in that code book.
Distressed spaceman, my eye. You've been bumming around the system for 30 years.
Skipper. You make me do something I never done for no one before. I'm an old man. An old blind man, and I want to go home. I ain't never crawled in front of a four-striper in my life, but you gotta let me drag home. The law says a man's got a trip coming to him. You can stretch for a poor old blind man, now can't you? You got it, Skipper.
All right, you old space rat. But keep out of the way. I run an efficient ship, and I don't want any trouble.
No, sir, no trouble. I'll just lay down to the power room. I kind of like to be near the jets when they blast off. For Earth.
Sit down, Riesling. Take a load off your feet.
Thanks, man.
Stand by for lift. Stand by.
Best seat in the system. Power room and an old Hawk glass ship.
Power room, fire 3.
Aye, sir.
The cool green hills of Earth.
Still singing that, Riesling?
Oh, some. I changed her a little. Gonna finish her now, man. Going home to finish her.
Yeah. Have you seen those new automatic dampers, Riesling? Don't have to do nothing but sit and watch.
Where's the peeper?
Turned off. She's all automatic.
You have it soft nowadays. When I was twisting her tail, you had to stay awake. You got an old hand damping plates on?
All but the links. I unshipped them. They cover up the dials.
You might need them.
No, the automatics handle everything. Well, you're finally going home, Riesling, huh? Won't seem the same out past the moon.
I've been waiting for this a long time, man. Gonna be good to get home, I reckon.
The argent sky is calling spacemen back.
Mac, you all right? I got the emergency. Where are the links? Mac, you ought to be on the wall here something. I got it.
Power room, what's the alarm? Emergency squad coming in.
Stay out. The place is hot. Radiation blast.
Stay behind the baffle.
I got the link shift. I can hand hammer now.
What's going on in there?
I'm still in Jet 3.
Is this McDougal?
McDougal is dead. This is Riesling on watch.
Riesling, get out of there. You'll kill yourself.
Don't worry, Skipper. I know this power room like the inside of my shirt. Somebody's got a damper.
Riesling, I'm sending in a crew.
No use. The whole room will be hot for an hour and the other jets won't hold. Skipper, throw on the recording tape.
What?
Throw on the recording tape. I want to get something down.
Tape's on, Riesling. Stop it, Riesling. The radiation will burn you down.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, pretty sharp sunburn. Pick me out of here with the tongs and bury me in a lead shield coffin. Okay, Skipper. She's clean. Radiation's getting brighter. I can almost see it. Bright, rosy like the sun. Like the sun over the hills down home. I got my song figured right now. Here it comes.
We pray for one last landing on the globe that gave us birth. Let us rest our eyes on the fleecy skies of the cool green hills of Earth.
I can see him now. The hills. The sun. I can see the sun.
That's the way he died. Riesling, the blind singer of the spaceways, singing of the home he never reached, the cool green hills of Earth.
Next week, we bring you another story many of you have requested that we repeat. It's the strange tale of man's first visit to another planet and why he decides that Mars is heaven.
Be with us at this same time next week for another adventure into the unknown world of Dimension X.
This program was transcribed. Now, dynamic Tallulah Bankhead brings you The Big Show on NBC.
There's an old saying that there's strength in numbers, and this is possibly as true on the Magic Island or in Euclidia as it is anywhere else. The Gregory party of 4 has now grown to 5, with the addition of the Euclidean girl submarine commander. The girl whom we have known only as the commander has been sent to live with our party as a punishment for aiding them to escape from the Magic Island. She's a very lovely and clever young person and will be known from this time on as Elaine Raleigh. In the living quarters set aside for Mrs. Gregory and her loyal friends, Joan and her mother are fitting one of Mrs. Gregory's dresses on Elaine, while Jerry and the captain are out trying to get a little more information on their position.
I know I'm right, Captain Bradford.
Well, I hope you are, Jerry, but this doesn't look much like it.
Well, just the same, I think we should keep walking along this narrow little hallway.
At least it was built here for some purpose, and the more we learn of this place, the more chance we have of escaping from it.
I know one thing for sure.
What's that?
Nobody can hear us talking in this tunnel.
How are you so sure of that?
Well, the commander told me so.
Elaine?
Yep, that's right. I've called her the commander so long that it's hard to remember to call her anything else. But Elaine is sure a swell name.
It is a pretty name, Jerry, and Elaine is a very attractive girl.
You bet she is. I think she's mighty nice.
Well, I'll agree with you, son, but if you don't mind, I'd like to give you a little advice about her.
About Elaine?
Mm-hmm. Elaine and all the rest of the ladies.
Yeah? Well, what is it?
Well, Jerry, just as one man to another, I'd say that it might be just as well if you didn't say too much about how nice you think Elaine is, especially when Joan is around.
Oh, sure. I figured that out for myself. Joan gets all steamed up every time I say something nice about the girl.
Yes, you may find that such things will happen to you from time to time.
Yeah, I know that. Women are all alike. Oh, but I guess they can't help acting like that. And they're pretty nice.
Not bad, Jerry. And if you understand them that well, I'll let you alone to work out your own problems with it.
Yeah, but Elaine is mighty smart about things in this crazy place. And when she says nobody can hear us in this tunnel, I know it's right.
Well, at least it's worth taking a chance on. But why do you think she was so insistent that we explore this passageway?
Well, you started it all by what you said at dinner last night.
What was that?
Well, when you said you thought there must be some easier way to get out of this underwater city than taking a submarine out through those locks.
Well, I naturally figured that anyone as clever as these Euclideans are would have more than one exit. There would always be an emergency outlet someplace.
That's the idea, and Elaine says there is.
And she thinks this steel shaft is the answer?
That's right.
I wonder. Well, we're going back away from the city now and climbing at the same time. I'd say this was very near that elevator shaft we came down from the island to the underwater city.
That's what I think. I've got an idea, Tex. Well, it may be crazy, but I wish you'd listen to it.
Well, right ahead, Jerry. Ideas aren't so plentiful that we can afford to waste any of them.
Well, that universal solvent of yours, that's the only thing we've got that's better than anything the Euclideans have, isn't it?
Yes, I expect that's right.
And the only way you can use that is to have it where you can turn it loose or pour it out or spill it or let it run down on something?
That's right. Our only real hope to use my solvent as a threat when we try to capture this place is to find the highest point in the city, suspend a quantity of the solvent there, and threaten to release it and destroy the city. That is, unless the Euclideans surrender at our terms.
Okay, that's swell. And that fits right in with what the commander, Elaine, said.
Yes, go on.
Well, she figures that this tunnel we're walking in comes out inside that mountain that the crater of the volcano is in. Only this thing goes right up inside one of the little peaks around the crater, and that the opening at the top is only 30 or 40 feet below the water.
Well, if that's true, say, we're as good as off this place right now. But we'll have to be sure that nobody else knows what we know.
Oh, what could they do about it?
Prevent our coming up here, for one thing, and close this off for another?
Yeah, they'd do that all right. Hey, Tex. Oh, listen to our steps.
Yeah. We're off that noiseless steel and walking on rock. Good, solid rock, too. Begins to look as if your girlfriend is correct.
Boy, it sure does. But it looks like there's something here she didn't know about.
What? Oh, a steel door, eh?
Mm-hmm. And a mighty heavy door from the looks of things.
Well, now, if we can get this open, give me a hand here, Jerry.
Aye, aye, sir.
I'll say, this isn't going to be any too easy.
No. Must be some way to get it open, though.
I don't like to make too much noise or stay up here too long. We might get caught at it, and that would spoil all our plans.
Oh, sure, but, well, we may not get many chances to come up here either. I think we ought to try getting through there right now.
Well, your guess is good as mine in Euclidia, Jerry. Come on, we'll try some more.
This is... it's sure funny. The door looks like it was stuck to the sides. All the way around.
Yes, except on the bottom. Here, put your hands flat against the door, and we'll try pushing down on it.
Down?
Down.
Okay, Skipper. Here we go. Hey, it's moving, Tex. It's moving.
Well, it sure is, son. Look, it's going down. That's the best thing in the world for us.
Why? Why is it?
Well, I'd say there's only one reason for a door to open down. There isn't room for it to open up. And that can mean only one thing. There isn't room for it to open up because we're too near the top of this mountain. Or whatever we're inside of.
Gee, Tex, look into that room.
Yes. Not only into the room, but look through the room.
Come on.
Wait, hold it, Jerry. Wait till this door is all the way down into the floor. You might get hurt if you start in there now.
Okay. Boy, that's something to see, isn't it?
It certainly is. Look, that room is made of transparent steel. And it's mighty near the surface of the water. Why, it must be.
Yep. Why, the water's light enough that you can see all around in the room. How deep could the water be in letting that much light?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I'd say, not over 4 or 5 fathoms.
Not more than 30 feet?
Something like that, I think.
Gee, Tex, if we're only 30 feet below the surface of the water, we could swim out if we had to without getting hurt.
Yeah, we could do just that, son. Well, everything seems to be stationary. Come on, let's go on in.
Gee, this place isn't very big.
Plenty big enough for an escape chamber, and that's just what it was designed for.
Well, how do you get out of here?
I'm trying to figure that out. I think I have.
How?
Now, look, see that valve down there in the corner?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I get it. Air pressure.
Right, boy. Either air pressure to bring the pressure of this room up to that outside, or to flood this lock with water.
Be hard to get out of here and into the water at that. That's a long time to hold your breath.
I don't have any idea that you're supposed to hold your breath while you're getting out of here.
Well, how else can it be done?
Looks more to me as if this whole room was a lock. Yeah, a floating lock. It can be forced up to the surface of the water.
Well, looks like the locks they used to get that rocket plane out of that underwater city.
Exactly. I think when our time comes to escape from Euclidia, this is the way we do it.
And you can leave some of your solvent out in that hallway, so we'll eat down through into the city and let the ocean flood in and destroy everything.
That's it, except that we'll give the Euclideans a chance to surrender and become good citizens of the world. You know, after all, Jerry, we're to stop those scientists before they do a lot of harm in our world with their inventions and discoveries. Our business isn't to hurt anyone.
Well, I guess not. But they wouldn't worry about hurting anyone else.
Well, do you know of anyone they've hurt?
No. Yeah. How about that old sailor who got the first radio message off to us?
He wasn't hurt. He's alive and well, a prisoner like the rest of us.
Maybe you're right. But will these Euclideans behave if we do capture them and take them home?
We'll put them where they'll have to.
In jail, you mean?
No, I don't think so. You know, I doubt very much if it's possible to prove anything criminal against them. At least nothing serious enough to keep them in a prison for life. You know, after all, Jerry, all they've done is to be just a little too brilliant for the present order of society. While that may be dangerous, well, certainly isn't criminal.
Well, if we can't put them in prison, where can we put them?
Well, Mrs. Gregory has money, Jerry. Almost unlimited money. Many of her friends are equally fortunate. I'm sure Pat would lead a movement to form a syndicate. Establish a scientific foundation for these people. There they would be allowed to carry on their work, but they'd also be watched to see that anything they develop would only be used for good.
It sounds okay, but it sure costs a lot of money and plenty of trouble.
It's the only answer I can think of.
Well, I hope they refuse to surrender, and we can turn this water in on the whole bunch of them.
Now, Jerry, you wouldn't do that.
Well, maybe I wouldn't want to do that to the animals they've got down there, but I don't feel very bad about anything happening to the Euclideans.
Why, Jerry, they're human, just the same as we are. They're entitled to fair treatment.
Yeah, only... Hey, Tex, look.
Yeah, I see it, Jerry.
A shadow on the water above us.
Looks like the shadow of a submarine.
No, it's one of those rocket planes shaped like a submarine.
How can you tell?
Well, see the shadows, those little bumps on the sides where the wings don't quite fold into the ship?
Say, you're right. It is one of the Euclidean rocket planes. It's just drifting on the surface of the water.
Well, it's going to be right over us in a minute.
The shape of that shadow is changing. There's a bulge on one side of it.
Looks almost like somebody was getting out of it and into the water.
That's just what's happening. Now, look, that fellow's feet are touching the water.
Yep, and we're mighty close to the surface. I'll bet this is over 20 feet.
Nearer 30, I think, but the water's perfectly clear. Jerry, that man is coming down into the water, and he's coming right for this transparent steel lock.
Hey, let's get out of here.
Wait, we can step outside the door into the hallway and still see him. I want to watch how this is done.
But if he sees us in here, then our chance of using this place for an escape are all gone.
Oh, now look, we'll step backward to the door and start to shut it. When it's nearly up to the top, we can safely watch over it and close it quickly when he's near enough to see it.
Okay, but we'd better get busy.
Look, Jerry, man has on heavy shoes like a diver, but no diving suit.
Well, he's got a little thing like a helmet on, though.
Right, just something to allow him to breathe for the few seconds it takes him to get into this lock.
He's right beside the lock now, but he's turned sideways, so I guess he can't see us.
Now look, he's reaching down to turn something. It's a valve. Just what I thought. This is a lock, and he'll fill it with water before coming into it.
But how can he get the water out of it when he wants to come through this door?
Probably pump it out with that valve we saw in here.
Hey, he's letting in the water.
We'll allow him to turn around in a minute. Here, give me a hand here, Jerry, and we'll shut this door quick.
Aye, sir.
Now, come on, Sam. Let's get away from here quick.
I'll say, oh, boy, what we know about this place now.
Sure looks encouraging, Jerry, but we'll have to be mighty careful about discussing with the others.
Well, we'll have to tell Joan, their mother, and the girl commander, Elaine.
Well, we'll tell them all right, but let's be careful. We're as good as out of Euclidia right now.
That's what you think.
What's up, kid?
Oh, look behind you. Through the transparent wall of that steel lock we just came out of.
Huh?
That's a funny one.
Yes, that fellow took off his helmet and stored away in that little cabinet, but he isn't coming out this door.
Well, he's sure not going to try going back up through that water without a helmet.
Get out of here quick, Jerry. He's coming this way.
Playing these transparent steel walls, you can't tell when you're through something.
He's coming now, and there's no doubt of it.
And I'm not sure we can find our way out of here.
Well, there aren't any turns in this corridor.
You mean there weren't any turns in it when we came up here? No telling what's happened to it since then.
Come on, step on it, Jerry. That door's opening behind us.
And if we can't get around the turn in this tunnel before that fellow sees us, we'll never get a chance to see this place for an escape.
Down in the weird underwater city of Euclidia, many strange things take place, and most of them have been terrifying to the Gregory party. Now, however, a big ray of hope has suddenly appeared. Mrs. Gregory, her daughter Joan, and their newly found friend Elaine, the Euclidean girl submarine commander, are in their quarters. Mrs. Gregory is enjoying herself as Elaine tries on one of her dresses while Joan watches admiringly.
I am so worried about Jerry and the captain.
Now, Joan, dear, when Tex and Jerry are together, they're able to get themselves out of anything that might come up.
But, Mother, they were to be gone only a few minutes, and it is now more than an hour.
Well, you're worrying much too soon, Joan. When you've lived as long as I have, you'll realize that a man loses all sense of time when he's out doing something that interests him and completely forgets anyone who might be waiting for him.
That would seem to be the case, but I do not like it.
Well, dear, older women than any of us find fault with things men do. But it's much easier to find fault than to find the cure.
Oh, Mother, look.
Why, Elaine, you're lovely in that dress, dear.
I think it must be the dress that is lovely. I have not changed, and no one has told me previously that I am lovely.
But you are. I like that much better than your uniform of Euclidean cloth.
I hope I may never again...
You have forgotten, Elaine.
I am sorry.
We understand, my dear girl. You've kept up that Euclidean atmosphere so long that you find it difficult to realize that all of your Euclidean mannerisms and your obligations to these scientists have been left behind you with that uniform.
Mother, may Elaine have this dress? I mean, may she keep it?
Well, to be sure.
I am not at all sure about doing that. This dress must have some value, and if I understand things in your world, articles of value must be exchanged for things of equal value.
That's approximately correct. But don't let that worry you for a moment. I can well afford to give you a dress or a complete wardrobe.
Mother is a very rich woman, Elaine.
Joan, dear, please.
But that is what Jerry says about you.
Well, even if it's true, we don't discuss those things.
And Mrs. Gregory, if I return to your world with you and attempt to enter life as you know it, what will be my place?
Your place?
Yes. I am not, as you are, a very rich woman. We have nothing of value to call our own on Euclidia, no medium of exchange except our efforts, in return for which we receive a bare sustenance. If I attempt to take my place in your world, how will I exist?
That is a very well-placed question, Mother.
Well, it might be if Elaine were not such an unusual person. As it is, I think we'll find that her new life will present more opportunities for accumulating money than she will have time to grasp.
How could that be, Mrs. Gregory?
Oh, it's very obvious.
Not to me, and Elaine is plainly disturbed by it.
Well, it's too long a story to go into in great detail, but in the first place, you could amass a small fortune in a short time as a lecturer.
Lecturer? Surely you do not mean as an educator?
In a sense, yes. You see, your knowledge of things Euclidean and your personal story of your life here would provide material for any number of public appearances. However, I propose to protect you from that sort of exploitation until you know our world well enough to make your own choice in such matters. You will live in my home as my guest and Joan's companion until you feel thoroughly acquainted with our manner of living.
Oh, Mother, that will be wonderful. To have Elaine with us in your home.
Oh, indeed it will, Joan.
I realize that I should be very grateful for such an offer, and I hope I may show that gratitude. But will you permit me to question the offer?
Question it?
You need not question it, Elaine. My mother is very sincere in her gesture.
Oh, indeed I am.
I am sorry to express myself so poorly. I would like to ask a question regarding your offer. Perhaps that is a more satisfactory way to state it.
Well, of course. What's worrying you?
Will it not be crowding you, making your quarters stretch beyond the number of people your apartments were designed to accommodate?
Oh, and that's what's bothering you. Why, my dear girl, I could take a dozen young people into my home and still have room to spare.
Mother has a truly enormous home, Elaine.
That must be so. And Jerry is quite possibly correct when he says that you are a very rich woman.
Well, perhaps he is. But let's forget that for the moment and get back to the matter of your appearance.
You think that I will present a proper appearance?
And more.
Indeed you will. I wish Jerry were here. He has a number of expressions which are very poor English and sound silly, yet are quite valuable. Jerry could tell you in a few slang phrases just how acceptable your appearance is.
Boy, oh boy, have we got big news.
Jerry!
You bet it's Jerry, the one and only in person.
Well, Jerry, you're all excited.
Bet I am.
He's got a mighty good reason to be excited.
What is it, Captain Bradford?
Yes, Tex. Is it something good?
Something so good that we'll have to be very careful how we tell you about it.
Well, may we hear now?
Golly whiskers. Oh, boy. Hey, Tex, look.
Well, what struck you, Jerry?
The commander.
I did not strike you, Hall.
Oh, forget that Euclidean talk. Look at that girl, Tex. Is she a knockout? What a picture for the film magazine. Would she knock 'em dead in Hollywood? Boy, is she something to write home about. Giggling goldfish.
That was what I referred to, Elaine. You have no idea what Jerry meant by all that, yet his intentions are perfectly clear.
And Jerry didn't tell more than half of it.
Now, Elaine, how do you feel?
I feel something that I have never felt before. It is all so strange to me. You are all such strange people. You are concerned with my comfort, planning my future, and commending me on my appearance. I feel that if you will excuse me for a few moments, I will try to compose myself.
Well, what's the matter with her?
Gosh, did I say something wrong?
No, Jerry, you said everything just right. But Elaine isn't accustomed to compliments and kindness. For the first time in her life, she was overcome with emotion. And she prefers to be alone for a few moments.
Yeah, I know. All girls are the same way. When they get too happy to do anything else, they start to cry about it.
Looked like a case of tears, all right.
I can understand that. My feelings were the same when you first found me on the island. I had known nothing of affection, love, or kindness.
We all understand, and a good cry will help her a lot. Now suppose we let poor Elaine alone for a little while, so she may exercise her first opportunity to act like a woman and give us the big news.
Gee, Tex, I got so excited when I saw that girl in Mrs. Gregory's dress that I forgot all about our news.
Well, I didn't. And while I'm not at all sure we have all the privacy we're supposed to have here, well, it's got to be told sometime, and might as well start now.
You have learned something of real value, Captain?
We certainly have. Jerry and I have found the place to escape from Euclidean.
Tex, not really.
Absolutely.
Well, how did this happen?
Oh, we're pretty smart.
You must be.
Oh, it wasn't any trouble for us. We just started out to look for it, and there it was.
No, Jerry, wasn't there a little luck mixed up with it?
Well, not much.
And didn't we have a well-directed hint from Elaine that we might find something of value if we followed that steel tube to the top?
Sure, but, all right. We just happened to find it.
That's more like it.
Well, never mind the distribution of credit. What was it you found?
We found an airlock near the former position of the island, and so close to the surface of the water that all of us could easily escape and get to the surface without any help if we had to.
Tex, really?
That's right.
Where was this?
Well, we followed this steel tunnel round and round, getting higher and higher all the time, and I guess we kind of lost our directions. But it was someplace in the edge of that old crater where the island was built.
Yes, I think the tunnel parallels that elevator we came down in, and it sure comes out on the rim of the crater. But what's more important is that there's a transparent steel lock at the top, and it's within 30 feet of the surface of the water.
Oh, it should be easy to escape from there.
It should indeed. But after the escape, what?
After the escape, we're free.
Yes, on the surface of the ocean, 4,000 miles from Los Angeles.
I see what you mean, Joan, and naturally we'd take care of that.
But how, Tex?
By the very simple process of having a boat up there to pick us up.
How is that so simple?
Well, now, don't forget that tomorrow I'm beginning a regular series of test flights in the rocket planes. Sooner or later, I'll plan the rescue.
Will you have a chance to smuggle one of the homing pigeons aboard the plane?
I think so, in time.
Have you asked permission to take your instrument case aboard?
No, I was afraid to ask permission, for fear it would give me away. So on the trial flight today, I simply walked up to the ship with the case in my hand.
And G47 grabbed it and searched it plenty.
He did. And he'll probably do the same for several days to come. But one of these times, I'll know when G47 is going to be busy at the time I start a flight. And when that time comes, I'll have a homing pigeon in that instrument case.
You realize what the results will be if you are caught.
No worse than what we must eventually face if I don't try it. We're here forever as far as G47 is concerned.
Yes. Our punishment is to be completely ignored until in desperation we trade your formula for freedom, and then find ourselves denied that freedom.
Well, we're going to use that formula in a lot easier way than that, and a better way.
How, Jerry?
Well, Tex is
Hold
going
it, Jerry, hold it.
What's wrong?
Well, I thought I heard a noise outside that door.
But this room is soundproof.
Perhaps we should say we believe it to be soundproof.
Yes, there's always that. We can't be sure of anything here.
Well, never mind that no. I know how to use the formula when the time comes. The only thing that I'd like to know a little more about is the exact method of escape from that airlock Jerry and I discovered.
Perhaps I can assist you there, Captain Bradford.
Well, if you've got any ideas, toss them in.
By all means, Elaine. We'd welcome your advice.
I'm not familiar with the manner of operating the escape mechanism in the lock, but experience with other locks on Euclidia would lead me to conclude that it would be a very simple matter to arrange the flooding of the lock.
I thought that too, Elaine. What worries me is just how difficult it's going to be to get from that lock to the surface. For a number of us getting out at the same time, the last one out is going to have a long stretch without breathing. I'm sure we'll never have the chance to get any special equipment up there without being seen.
Yeah, it's always so easy until it gets hard.
That is not a serious problem. Every Euclidean has been instructed in the use of that escape lock in the event of an emergency, such as the flooding of the city. We have never searched for them, but somewhere in the wall panels of that steel room, and probably easily located, are a number of small air helmets, sufficient to sustain life underwater for several hundred seconds.
Hooray!
That's the answer, Tex.
It certainly is.
And our future is brighter than it has been for some time.
It's positively rosy, Joan.
Yeah, but how long will it be before you can get a message out for help?
That all depends on how long it takes me to get a rocket plane over Los Angeles with a homing pigeon aboard. Any other means of communication is impossible.
You plan to smuggle a pigeon aboard in your instrument case?
Yes.
Excellent. But would it not be wise to carry 2 pigeons in the event one of them is discovered?
Oh, sure, but if one is hard to hide, why try to make it 2?
You will carry your individual emergency tank of oxygen on each flight, will you not, Captain?
Yes, each man on the rocket plane will have one. I insisted on that after our last flight nearly ended in disaster.
Precisely. And if you are willing to risk the danger of being without that oxygen, I can show you how to remove the end of the tank. And in that tank, on your important flight, you will have the second homing.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, present
The Adventures of Superman. Today, as the malevolent followers of Frank Hill smile at their anticipated triumph over Jimmy Olsen, one hope for the young reporter remains, and that hope springs from the Man of Steel.
Say, gang, sitting down at the breakfast table may be a sort of ordinary thing that you do every day in the week. But there's nothing ordinary about breakfast if you're hitching up your chair to golden bowls of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Why, that sunny golden toasted flavor is enough to lift Pep right out of the ordinary class. It's so full and smooth and delicate. Not to mention Pep's tender crispness and the way your appetite seems to wake up smiling at your first spoonful of those crunchy whole wheat flakes. Yes, sir, when you want a regular sort of treat for breakfast, latch on to Kellogg's Pep. There's come on in every bite. And you know, Pep is good for you, too. Brings you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. So keep on the sunbeam, gang. Polish off that breakfast bowl of Kellogg's Pep clean as a whistle, because you don't want to waste cereal. You see, the cereal grains, like the whole wheat and Pep, have been picked out to give that swell grain nourishment to fellows and girls all around the world. Remember that when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Don't waste it. If you pour your own Pep, take time to pour it carefully. And say, kind of keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. That's so easy to do and so important nowadays. Remember, eat all your pep. Don't waste it.
Now, the adventures of Superman. Caught in a trap set for him by Frank Hill, the vicious, hate-mongering leader of an organization calling itself the Guardians of America, young Jimmy Olsen, who had learned enough to send Hill and his poison-spreading henchmen to jail for life, was condemned to die. Bound hand and foot and gagged almost to the point of suffocation, the Daily Planet cub reporter was driven to the center of the huge Metropolis Bridge by two of Hill's henchmen, who, under cover of darkness, planned to drop him into the dark, swirling waters of the river below. Meanwhile, with Jimmy's life hanging by the slender thread of a few seconds, Clark Kent at the Daily Planet received a telephone call from a young Italian girl, the daughter of the organ grinder to whom Jimmy had dropped an urgent message when he was a prisoner at Hill's headquarters. Forced to knock out Editor Perry White in order to quickly assume his true identity and go to Jimmy's rescue, Kent leaped from the open window and in the brilliant red cape and blue costume of Superman, streaked through the darkness toward the Metropolis Bridge, where, as we join them now, Carl and Eric, Hill's two murderous underlings, are about to silence Jimmy forever. His half-conscious body has been dragged from the rear seat of their parked car, and they are carrying it to the low bridge railing.
Good thing he does not weigh much. I would hate to have to handle a 200-pounder this way.
You're not kidding. All right, this is far enough. Now, just lift him up and toss him over the railing.
You know, Carl, I think Hill made a mistake telling us to take the ropes and gag off him.
Why?
What if he can swim?
Are you kidding? He's half dead now.
I know, but he might revive when he hits the water.
Don't worry. It's a 200-foot drop. He'll hit it so hard his back will break. Come. We're wasting time. Up with him.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Come on, Chip. He kicked me in the stomach. He must be in
trouble crossing the road.
Oh, help! Help!
Thank you, Mary. I got his arms. Keep your hand over his mouth. I'll lift him up.
Carl, there's a car coming.
He can't stop now. We got to get him over. Help me.
He's holding on to the railing.
Push him over. Push hard. That's it. A little more. There he goes.
Fighting a desperate last-minute battle to save himself from being thrown off the bridge, Jimmy is no match for the two grown killers. With his clutching fingers finally torn from the island railing, he plunges down through the darkness, his body twisting and turning like a sawdust doll, his arms flailing the air helplessly. Down, down he plummets, down towards certain death in the angry, rushing tide water of the Black River. Meanwhile, less than a mile away now, calling on every last bit of strength in his powerful muscles, Superman cleaves the darkness like a shaft of scarlet light. Suddenly, his amazing vision picks up the turning, twisting body plummeting down toward the river.
Great Scott, it's Jimmy. I'm too late. I can't make it. No, I've got to make it. I've got to. Faster! Faster!
Arms outstretched, the man of steel dives for the surface of the river almost like a bird of prey, draining his vast supply of energy for a final desperate effort. Like a rocket blessed with the speed of light, he streaks under the arched span of the bridge as Jimmy's body, limp and formless now, reaches a point a few scant feet above the river. Hands extended and fingers spread wide, Superman exerts a last heartbreaking burst of incredible speed. His chest swims the swirling surface of the tide-swept water as he arches his great body, forces his hands out almost beyond their normal reach, and catches the doomed boy a split second before he strikes the river.
Got him. Now, up! Up! It's all right, Jim. Everything's all right now. Poor Kitty passed out. Easy, boy, easy.
Help.
You don't need help anymore, Jim. Everything's all right.
Where am I?
Flying over Metropolis.
I'm dead. I'm going to heaven.
Oh, no. Not quite yet, Jim.
Then, Superman. It's you.
Who else do you know who can fly without an airplane?
I thought maybe you were an angel, and Bleeps, you saved my life. They threw me off the bridge.
Let's not talk about that now. We have work to do. What did you learn at the Guardian's headquarters, Jim? Evidently enough to force them to get rid of you.
I learned everything. The head guy's name is Frank Hill.
Frank Hill?
He's got sort of dirty blonde hair and little pale blue eyes. And his fingers are long and thin and white like milk snakes.
That's not a very pretty description.
He's not a very pretty guy.
Well, he'll be a lot less pretty when I get through with him.
You going to grab him now?
He's anywhere within reach. He wasn't at the penthouse apartment an hour ago.
Gosh, were you there?
Yes, there and a lot of other places looking for you. You had us all worried. Uh-oh, there's Willow Drive below us, Jim. Suppose we drop down and see whether Mr. Hill is at home and ready to receive visitors.
Okay by me.
Okay, hold on. Down we go. Down! Quietly, Jim. Don't trip over anything. There are some potted plants on this terrace.
I'm watching it. Are you sure he's home?
Yes. And so are the two characters who dropped you off the bridge.
Well, are they going to be surprised?
Before that, they're going to be frightened.
Frightened?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
I'll show you. Easy now. You go through this door if it's unlocked.
You could go through it locked.
Too noisy. Good. It's open. Go ahead, Jim.
Inside?
Yes. Keep your voice down.
Boy, sure is dark in here.
They're close to me. Here, take my hand.
Okay. Now where are we going?
They're all in what I suppose is Hill's office next to the foyer.
Has it got a black velvet curtain stretched across one end of the room?
Yes.
That's it. That's the curtain he stands behind when he talks to people.
Watch it. I'm going to open another door to the hall.
There's a light out there.
I know. Come on. Hear their voices?
Yeah. That door at the end of the hall, just before you get to the foyer, leads into Hill's office.
So I see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about your X-ray vision.
Wait a minute. Careful now. I don't want them to hear us. Better hold up.
What are we going to do?
Frighten them first and pounce on them later.
Well, how can we frighten them?
You can. They think you're dead floating down the river. People like that, narrow-minded, bigoted, hateful people, are usually superstitious. Ignorance and superstition go hand in hand. Anyone who believes as they do that men should be judged by the way they worship God is as ignorant as the jungle savage.
You mean you want him to think I'm a ghost?
That's the idea, Jim. I'll open the door and you just stand there, blank-eyed.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here goes.
Flinging open the door to Frank Hill's office, Superman steps aside, and Jimmy advances to the threshold, arms dangling and eyes staring blankly into the room. We'll be back in a moment for the amazing and surprising climax to today's episode. So keep listening.
Say, gang, have you tried it yet? Have you sampled that smooth combination? I mean, have you had a Pep Strawberry Flip, this week's Pep Dish of the Week? It's regular, gang, as terrific a breakfast dish as you'd ever want to taste. And it's made with a flip of the wrist. Sure, you just pour out your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal. Put some fine, ripe strawberries on top. Then take your spoon, and now, look, very carefully, give the whole thing a neat flip so that the berries are scattered all through the toasty whole wheat flakes. Add milk and sugar, and there you are, a Pep Strawberry Flip. It's a dish that gives your appetite a lift, because those crispy flakes of Kellogg's Pep are something to latch onto. They're so tender and golden and full of that keen sunshine flavor. Yes, sir, a dish of Kellogg's Pep adds up to mighty good eating. And Pep is good for you, too. So make it a point to eat every last spoonful in your bowl, because this is no time to waste cereal. You see, the cereal grains have been picked out to give that swell grain nourishment to fellows and girls overseas. So when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make it your job to guard against waste. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and polish off every bit you pour out. Be sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Playing on what he is certain is their superstitious ignorance, Superman has decided to teach Frank Hill and his two henchmen the meaning of fear before turning them over to the police. Jimmy, who they believe is by now a corpse in the river, steps to the threshold of Hill's office as Superman opens the door and backs out of sight. For a long, ghastly moment, the three men in the room stare at the figure in the doorway, at its dangling arms and blank, seemingly sightless eyes. Then, as terror grips them, one of them, the man known as Carl, screams out.
The ghost of that kid?
Walk into the room, Jim.
Coming for us.
Slowly.
Oh, he's coming. Keep him away. Stop it, you fools.
My gun. Where's my gun?
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Get away.
Stay back. I got the gun. I'll kill him.
Over my dead body, Mr. Hill. Get behind me, Jimmy.
Who?
Who are you?
I'll show you who I am in just a moment with my bare hands.
Stay where you are. Don't come any closer.
Put that gun down.
I'll shoot.
Put it down, I said.
Firing point blank at the advancing figure of Superman, Frank Hill, the breeder of hate, attempts to add murder to his list of crimes, unaware that the Man of Steel has impenetrable skin that cannot be pierced by a bullet. But wait, something seems to have happened. Superman is groaning in pain and clutching at his stomach. Superman is staggering. What has happened? Is it possible that one of the screaming bullets from Hill's gun has found a vulnerable spot on Superman's body? Is there such a spot, like Achilles' heel? Gang, whatever you do and wherever you are, don't miss Monday's episode. And tell all your friends not to miss it either. Make sure to be glued to your radio Monday at this same time over this same station for the most startling surprise you have ever had. Don't miss it.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, if you want your dog to tag right along with the gang, if you want him to be strong and husky, don't let him eat just to fill up. Mix his scraps of meat and fat in with Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. Then just see if you don't get congratulations on what a fine dog you have. Grow Pup has what it takes to help keep a dog hitting on all fours, and it's full of swell, meaty flavor dogs like. Besides, there are 3 different kinds of Grow Pup. Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Ask Mother to start feeding your dog Kellogg's Grow Pup today. And be sure to be with us on Monday for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, a big surprise awaits the hate monger, Frank Hill, as he attempts to escape from justice and the Man of Steel with a blazing gun.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal, Dan McCullough. Say, how would you like your appetite to wake up smiling in the morning, same as you do? Well, here's how. Just tuck this thought in the back of your head for a quick reference. You're going to have a bowl of crisp, golden toasted Kellogg's Pep for breakfast. Yes, sir, Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal. It's so sunny and golden, what gives your appetite the old come-on every time. Each tender whole wheat flake is a treat to look at. Crunchy and toasty, really terrific. And talk about flavor. Kellogg's Pep is loaded with smooth, sunshine flavor. No kidding, gang. Pep is just about the most delicious dish you'd ever want to taste. Good for you, too. Sure, your mom knows that. So keep on the sunbeam. Eat up every single spoonful of Kellogg's Pep in your bowl. Keep in mind that nowadays the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls all over the world. So you wouldn't want to waste Pep. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make yourself a committee of one to help guard against waste. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and polish off every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Saved from certain death in the dark, tide-swept waters of the Metropolis River, young Jimmy Olsen and his rescuer, Superman, hurried to the penthouse headquarters of the so-called Guardians of America, the subversive, hate-mongering organization responsible for the attempt on Jimmy's life, as well as a dozen other acts of violence. Bursting into a room where Frank Hill, leader of the organization, was conferring with Carl and Eric, two of his henchmen, Superman demanded their surrender. But Hill, unaware that he was faced by the Man of Steel, pulled a gun and fired 3 shots point blank. Expecting the bullets to bounce off Superman's impenetrable skin, Jimmy was unconcerned when the shots rang out. But then, suddenly, something startling happened. Superman moaned in pain, clutched at his stomach, and swayed unsteadily on his feet. Stunned, Jimmy was speechless. Not Frank Hill. Quickly, he barked an order.
Carl! Eric, he's hit! Grab him!
Not so fast, gentlemen. Let's see what happens when I knock your thick heads together like this.
Oh! Good heavens.
My, they sound hollow, don't they, Jim?
Superman, are you all right?
I'm fine, but these 2 specimens are out cold. Now, Mr. Hill, it's your turn.
Stand back. You can't fool me. You were hit.
Quite right. 2 of the bullets struck me in the chest and the 3rd in the stomach, but they bounced off.
I heard you moan. I saw you stagger and grab for your stomach.
Just a little act to draw off your 2 boyfriends. I was afraid if I went for you, they might go for Jimmy. Evidently, you don't know who I am.
I don't care who you are. You're not leaving this room alive.
Come again, Mr. Hill. And that, I believe, empties your gun. Yes, empty it is.
Incredible. Impossible.
Maybe you can figure it out while you're cooling your heels in jail.
No, you're not going to get me in jail. You've got nothing on me.
We've got everything on you, Hill. Everything, including the kitchen sink. Attempted murder, assault, arson, impairing the morals of minors, enough to send you behind bars for life. And on top of all that, we've got a little personal grudge to settle with you. We don't like people who push other people around. We don't like people who spread hatred and suspicion.
I was only trying to protect America from foreigners.
Go on. You know America was founded by what you call foreigners.
Right, Jim. Tell me, Hill, was it because you were trying to protect America that you told Muggs and his gang to set fire to Dave Hoffman's drugstore?
Hoffman's a Jew. The Jews are trying to run the world.
Hoffman's an American, regardless of his religious preference. Besides, as I recall, that was one of Herr Hitler's favorite lines. What about little Danny O'Neill? He's Catholic and comes of Irish parents, yet you had him beaten to within an inch of his life.
That's a lie. I had nothing to do with it.
Of course not. Rats like you get others to do their dirty work. What about Dr. Leeds, a good Protestant minister? You almost succeeded in killing him. Is he a foreigner?
You forgot Rabbi Stone.
Yes, born and brought up in America, an honest student at college. Is he a foreigner?
I'm not talking.
You don't have to talk, Hill. The things you've done and the things you've tried to do speak for themselves. Jim, use that phone on the desk and call Inspector Henderson. Tell him to send a patrol wagon up for these fine specimens.
Right, Superman.
In the meantime, open that safe for me, Hill. Chances are it contains some interesting documents concerning your activities.
I don't know the combination.
That's a lie. Open it before I break you in 2.
Inspector Henderson,
I tell you I don't know the combination.
Would you like me to rip the door off?
You have no right to touch that.
Inspector,
Is that...
This is Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, I'm okay.
Hold it. Better let me talk to him, Jim.
Just a minute, Inspector. Superman wants to talk to you.
Thanks, Jim. Hello, Inspector. Oh, I'm fine, thanks. Jimmy and I are at the headquarters of that Guardians of America outfit. We've collared 3 of them, including the big shot.
Superman, Hill's trying to get away.
Hold it, Inspector. No, you don't, Hill.
Let go of me.
I'll let go with this.
Jeepers, you knocked him cold.
Unfortunately, he'll live. Hello, Inspector. Sorry for the interruption. No, nothing important. Frank Hill, the leader of this rat's nest, decided he wanted to take a nap, and I had to rock him to sleep. Yes, now they're all asleep. I suggest you get a patrol wagon over here as soon as you can. The number is 250 Willow Drive, the penthouse apartment. What's that? Oh, you did? Oh, well, fine. Yes, we'll be here. Right. So long. Well, Jim, he rounded up the gang at the pool room. He's got them all at headquarters.
Muggs, too?
Uh-huh. Now, suppose you and I take a look at that safe while we're waiting.
Oh, how are you going to get it open?
One guess.
Oh, boy, I don't want to miss this.
It isn't much of a safe. It's more like a sardine can. Well, here goes. That door should rip off its hinges pretty easily.
Jeepers. You tore it open like a paper bag.
There's a lot more in it than you'll ever find in a paper bag. Look at those stacks of money.
Must be $1 million there.
Not quite, but there's enough. Now, let's see what's in this brown manila envelope. This looks interesting.
More money?
No. No, it's papers of some kind.
Anything interesting?
I don't know yet. We'll find out in a minute. Here, hold the envelope, will you, Jim?
Okay.
Now, let's see what we have here. Great Scott.
Well, what is it?
Jim, we've stumbled on something amazing. Call Inspector Anderson back while I look through this stuff. Tell him to have all the kids in that pool room gang in his office. I want them all on hand when we bring Frank Hill in. I've got something to tell them and something to show them.
What has Superman found in the manila envelope? We'll be back in a moment to find out and to learn a startling thing about Frank Hill. So keep listening.
Say, gang, what's your favorite word for describing something that you think is pretty swell? Do you say neat, keen, super terrific? Well, line up a whole bunch of those words, gang. You'll need them to describe this week's Pep Dish of the Week. It's called a Pep Jamboree, and here's how it goes. You pour out your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep the Sunshine cereal and top it all over with mixed fruit cocktail and a little of the sweet syrup. Pour on milk, and you have a Pep Jamboree, colorful to look at, terrific to taste. Believe me, you'll have a jamboree with that dish. With those crunchy golden toasted flakes of Kellogg's Pep are so good you can't miss. Before you know it, you'll polish off every tasty spoonful in your bowl. And nothing could be smarter, especially nowadays when we don't want to waste cereal. Because whole wheat is one of the cereal grains picked out to go to fellas and girls all over the world. So get hep to pep, gang. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure it's not wasted. Handle with care is the idea if you pour your own cereal, and eat up every bit you pour out. Just remember, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Our scene is now Inspector Henderson's office at police headquarters. Crowded into the room are the 10 boys who were members of the juvenile gang working for the Guardians of America, Frank Hill and his 2 henchmen, recovered from the Superman sleep treatment, Henderson and 3 of his police captains, Jimmy Olsen, and Superman himself. Standing at one end of the room, holding some papers in his hand, Superman begins talking.
Muggs, I want you to step forward. Since you were the leader of this gang, you can speak for all of them. Come on. All right. That man standing over there, Muggs, the man who calls himself Frank Hill, he was the one who gave you your orders, wasn't he?
I don't know.
You never saw him because he talked to you from behind a curtain, but you heard him speak. Now, you just heard his voice again. Do you recognize it?
I don't know.
All right. We'll tackle it another way. Have you any brothers, Muggs?
Yeah, 1.
How old is your brother?
26.
Was he in the Army during the war?
No, in the Navy.
Where is he now?
He's in a hospital. He lost a leg.
I see. Any of you other boys have brothers or fathers in the Army or Navy? Raise your hands if you did. You in the green shirt.
My father got killed in the Army.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, the rest of you put your hands down. We've got enough. The only reason I asked you whether you had brothers or fathers fighting in the war was to prove something to you. These papers I'm holding in my hand were taken out of the safe in Frank Hill's office. One of them shows that Hill was a draft dodger. That while your brothers and fathers were being killed and wounded, he stayed behind and lived off the fat of the land. And you know what he was doing all during the war? He was a German spy. In fact, his name isn't even Frank Hill. His real name is Franz Hiller. And that's the man who told you he was trying to protect America. The man who organized the Guardians of America. The man who tried to stop decent Americans like Dave Hoffman and Dr. Leeds and Father Sheehan and Rabbi Stone from doing something for America. Franz Hiller, who tried to double-cross America while your brother Muggs was losing his leg fighting for America.
That dirty rat, I ought to kill him.
You don't have to worry about him now. The America he told you he was guarding will take care of him and see to it that he does no more harm. But remember this as long as you live. Whenever you meet up with anyone who is trying to cause trouble between people, anyone who tries to tell you that a man can't be a good American because he's a Catholic or a Jew, a Protestant or whatever, you can be pretty sure he's a rotten American himself. Not only a rotten American, but a rotten human being. Don't ever forget that.
Honest, Miss Lena, it would have done you a heart good to hear Superman tell those kids a thing or two. I thought they were going to tear that guy Hiller into 100 pieces. And you know what?
What, Jim?
After they took Hiller out of Inspector Henderson's office, Muggs made a speech to the kids and told them that to make up for all they'd done, they had to go out and raise money to help build Unity House. How do you like that?
Gee, that's fine, Jimmy. And I'm glad it's all over, but I really haven't time to listen anymore. I'm scheduled to make a speech at the opening rally for Henry Marshall tonight.
Oh, he's the district attorney, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's running for mayor against Martin Higgins, and he's got to be elected, Jim. Higgins is a corrupt politician, supported by the gangster interest.
Oh, can I go along with you?
Sure, all right. We better get going in a few minutes. We can stop off and have a bite somewhere.
All right.
Oh, excuse me, Jim.
Sure.
Lois Lane speaking.
Miss Lane?
Yes?
I'm just calling to tell you that if you don't want to get hurt, you'll stay away from that Marshall rally tonight.
What's that?
You heard what I said. Stay away from that Marshall rally or you'll get hurt and hurt bad.
An unidentified voice and a cryptic warning. Will Lois heed the warning? Or will she attend the rally for Henry Marshall, the honest, gang-busting candidate for mayor of Metropolis? Fellows and girls, this is the beginning of a new Superman adventure, even more exciting than the one just concluded. So don't miss tomorrow's episode, when Lois and Jimmy find themselves involved with people who stop at nothing, not even murder. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Hey, how about being a pal to your dog like he is to you? Sure, do him a good turn. Treat him to Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. Why, it beats all how many dogs give Grow Pup the glad eye. It's so full of meaty flavor, and there are 3 different kinds to pick from. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. And you can give your dog the kind he likes best because they all have what it takes to help keep him right on the beam. For lots of muscle, for strong bones and teeth, ask Mother to base your dog's diet on Kellogg's Grow Pup every day. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. You're in the heart of a Philippine jungle, searching out an Igorot village whose people are practiced in savagery and headhunting, while your civilized companion is coldly making his plan to see that the first head taken will be your own. Listen now as Escape brings you Kathleen Height's exciting story, A Good Thing. This time, Matthew found me in a filthy flea bag of a hotel room in Manila. Before that, it had been Shanghai, Rangoon, Cape Town. Name your port of call.
Come on, boy. Come around. Come on. Come on, Dan. Dan, come on, snap two. You really tied one on this time, didn't you? Well, you've done it before. Here, boy. Catch. Easy, boy. Easy.
Oh, it's you.
How long you been like this? This time?
Too long. You found me.
You always send for me, Dan, in your own unique fashion.
I send for money. Give me the towel over there.
I always check on my investments.
Next time, just send the money.
Won't be a next time here. This time you're going with me.
You know I'm not.
I think you'll get a kick out of this joint. I'm going up in the back country of Nueva Ecija. Get material for my book. No expedition, no fancy trappings, just you, and me, and the Igorot.
It's just you and the Igorot.
No, it'll be good for you, Dan. We'll get you in shape. Rest up a bit before we strike out. And we'll get all that stuff boiled out of your system. Might even get you to quit hating yourself. I know, you think you hate me. Maybe you do. All I know is you're my brother, and I'm not going to let you go completely to pieces. Makes you feel great, doesn't it?
There when I want it.
Yeah.
And it never talks back. It's printed on the label. 16 full ounces, no platitudes.
Do you have any clothes except those on your back?
I travel light.
Any debts to square? Women to placate before we clear out of here?
You crazy fool. You really think I'm going with you?
Might make it as far as Japan tonight. We'll put up with Cass for a while. He'd like that.
Cass?
Mm-hmm.
You mean Cass Bledsoe?
Sure. He's still around. Must be in his middle 60s by now. He's fatter than ever and richer. I see him a couple of times a year, I guess. Thought maybe you'd forgotten Cass. It's been a long time.
It had been a long time. But Cass Bledsoe was one guy I'd never forget. I used to hang around his plantation near Gapan when I was a kid, and my old man was an engineer in the islands. I knew a good thing when I saw it, even then, and Cass had it made, but good. A lot of cheap native labor, all the money in the world. That's what I call a good thing. That's what I'd looked for all my life. Brother Matthew, I hated his insides. I always had. It wasn't so bad when he was off somewhere, but when he was around, I thought I'd blow my core. I hated him that much. He had me this time, though. I was flat broke, and he knew it. I had to go with him.
You see, no one's done exactly the kind of study I want to do on the Igorots. The lecture can wait till we get to Cass's. Come on, Dan. Admit it's not a bad idea?
I think it's a lousy idea.
Go on, Matt. Tell Cass all about it.
Yeah, explain it to me. I've lived on the fringe of the Red Country for years. I never gave a hoot what makes the Igorot tick.
You stubborn old baboon, you still won't give a hoot even if I do explain it to you.
No, now I'm interested. I really want to know. Do you know, Daniel?
Unlike you, I don't give a hoot.
Dan and I will have to do a lot of talking together before we go in. Well, briefly, good. The thing that's intriguing about the Igorots is this. On the one hand, they're a tribe of highly developed skills, mining principally. They live in orderly villages, practice monogamy, and generally lead productive, peaceful lives. But
pass me some.
Yeah. Here.
Oh.
Well, on the other hand, some of these same people are thoroughly pagan and practice headhunting.
And you want to know why,
Partly, I want to know where the schism is in the tribe. You know, what makes one group completely diverse from the other. There's a link of development that's just missing, and I want to know what it is and why it is.
And just the two of you are going in there to find out?
Well, I've got a theory that large expeditions marching in, setting up camp and equipment, and they just simply drive the natives farther into the brush. But Daniel and I can go in, make friends with them, and very quietly observe them. They'll get used to us after a while, and I really believe that we can come up with some important data. Anyway, it's worth a try, isn't it, Dan?
That's what you keep saying.
I know, and I don't understand. What gets inside a man that makes him blaze trails, risk his life to track down this data for a book no one but professors will give a hang about? You, Daniel, what drives you to do?
Matthew. He thinks the other pagans and I will get along just fine.
Oh, don't misunderstand me. That's a pineapple, will you, Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
I admire him. Thank you. Whatever it is. Matthew here will tell you every time I see him. I marvel at his plans. I listen and admire him all the more, but I never quite understand. All I know is I wish I'd had some of the quality when I was young enough to do something about it.
You're always making me sound like a bloody hero, Cass. I'm not at all. This drive, you call it, or something? Well, you're born with it. You're born with it.
Money!
Huh?
Money. And an inherited capacity for doing nothing in a very elaborate fashion. And that's what's wrong. Everything was always too dad-blamed easy.
Is that bad? Do things have to be tough? What's wrong with money, especially if someone just hands it to you?
Man needs challenge in his life. I never had it. But thank heavens I can appreciate when I see it. I'd turn this whole blasted plantation over to Matthew in a minute. Just to feel as if I'd done one worthwhile thing in my fat life. But he won't hear of it. And he calls me stubborn.
I'd lose money for you. You know it.
You would not.
Oh,
You'd have 100 innovations going before the first week was out. Ever see him tackle anything and not come out on top, didn't you?
Never in my whole life.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't think much of you if you're any different than you are. And if they give me the years back and let me have another try...
You wouldn't do it any differently than you have.
All right. I think you're right. But I know this much. I'll never turn this place over to a bum like me either. I'll let YOLO run it first.
Where's Juan? I'd like some coffee.
Oh, yeah. Here, guess we all need some. Juan!
YOLO, chef, coffee, sir. YOLO bring fine coffee.
Good, YOLO. And don't forget...
Also bring brandy. Plenty brandy.
Good boy. All around, huh?
Yeah, please. Thanks, YOLO. Hi, YOLO. How's the reading coming?
YOLO, very fine read, thank you, sir.
Good. Oh, this is my brother, YOLO. Daniel. This is Cass's prized possession.
Pleased to meet you, sir. Very pleased.
Hello, YOLO.
YOLO, read about Mr. Dan. In place Lion's Den?
What?
Lion's Den. Tell Daniel what you think of Matthew, YOLO.
Mr. Matt, very fine man, sir.
And what do you think of me?
Mr. Cass, very rich man.
You see, Daniel, I've raised this ingrate as if he were my son, and he thinks more of Matthew than he does of me.
The love feast went on and on and on. Every time Cass took another slug of brandy, he'd hand the plantation over to Matthew again and warn the boy, just kept handing it back. I had time. We were going to stay on with Cass for a few days. And hard as it was on my insides, it looked smart to come off with a carbon copy of Brother Matthew. The drunker he got, the more old brandy globe began to look like a good thing to me. It's a real good thing. I was a model boy those next few days.
Now, if we start out early enough in the morning, YOLO thinks we can make it to... Yeah, to this clearing right here. It's about tomorrow night.
Yeah. What does YOLO know about it?
Well, this country's the back of his hand. Hasn't Cass told you? YOLO's an Iguro. His family still lives back up in the hills.
Okay. So we're here tomorrow night.
Yeah.
When do we hit the first village?
Well, about mid-afternoon the second day. We'll set up headquarters there and work out of there as soon as we know the territory and make a few friends.
Sounds real cozy. All right, guess we're set then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Dan?
Yeah?
You're doing a good job. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
It's a long time since we've really been brothers. It'll be a good thing, this trip.
Yeah. I think so.
There! Are you still awake?
Yeah, come on in, Cass. Come in.
Couldn't wake Matthew. Oh, no wonder. Thought we'd just have a little drink together. To the Igaro, huh?
Dan will have a nightcap with you, Cass. I want to talk to YOLO again and then hit the side.
All right.
See you in the morning, Cass.
Yeah?
Night, Dan.
Yeah, night. You sure you need that drink, Cass?
You sound just like him. Pretty sure I don't need it, boy. Pretty sure. I don't need most of them, I take. Pretty sure. Here.
Okay. Eager, Oates?
To you. You and Matthew. Safe journey.
Thanks.
I don't know you like I know him, but you got something. I can tell. Something. Doers. That's what you are. Amount to something. Never did myself.
Look, you're pretty hard on yourself, aren't you?
Guts. You've got guts, both of you. Guts. Never had any myself. Never.
You've done all right without them.
Listen, boy. Listen. Don't let anything happen to Matthew. Like a son to me. Don't know you like I know him. I know this, though. You're a bad one. A lot of devil in there, like me. Matthew, just like a son to me. Man needs a son. And when you get back, if you get back,
It was like carrying a beach whale, packing him off to his room, loading him into bed. I made him comfortable. If the drunken old fool was shopping around for a son, I'd make it easy for him to find one. Matthew and Cass had one more good-natured exchange before we left the next morning. Cass killed me. Didn't even have a hangover.
It'll be my way or I won't let you go, Matthew. If you're idiot enough to go in and take court to headhunters, I'll at least have the satisfaction of knowing I sent you in good hands.
Cass, you can't. Yolo's your right hand. You need him here.
Just let him lead you to his old village. Then he'll come back. Won't you, Yolo?
Yes, sir. Make very fast with Yolo to lead. No trail, very good. Also, help make friends.
Well, you'd be a big help, Yolo, sure, but...
Matthew, I think it's a good idea if Cass can spare him a few days.
I certainly can. Besides, it'll make me feel as if I'm doing something for you. At least you can.
All right. All right. But you hurry back to Cass as soon as we're safely in the village, Yolo.
Yes, sir. Yolo understand.
Well, that's better. And you, Daniel, any young man who can lift me and my full load of brandy is worth having around. Anytime Matthew doesn't need you, let me know.
Well, thanks, Cass. I remember that.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, highway safety is a state of mind. Yes, the state of the driver's mind. His viewpoint about taking chances on his own and others' lives governs whether or not our roadways are safe or unsafe. With warm weather returning, and this a holiday weekend in many parts of the nation, be cautious. Be extremely cautious. Watch your state of mind when behind the steering wheel. Your life depends on it. Others do, too. And now, back to Escape.
Yolo picked a path forward through the thick undergrowth, and I kept looking back with the marked signs that would lead me out again when the time came. By evening, Yolo had nosed out a little clearing. We made camp there. I watched Yolo in the firelight. His eyes kept darting out into the night, his head cocked, listening.
Near as I can tell, we must be about halfway between Gimba and Bunga Bun, Daniel.
What does that mean?
Just that tomorrow afternoon should see us in Yolo's home village. You did a good job, Yolo. We wouldn't be this far without you.
Yolo very slow. Tomorrow do better. You sleep. Yolo watch and listen.
Yolo, what kind of sound does a headhunter make?
No sound. All very quick. Mr. Dan have no fear.
No? Why?
Not have a fine head like Mr. Matt.
That's a dubious honor.
Headhunter think soul in head. See fine head cut off. Make hunter very smart fellow. Put head in ground. Make crops grow.
Well, they won't come after us unless we trouble them. Don't worry about it, Dan. Get some sleep.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't have a thing to worry about. Yolo routed us out and on the trail early the next morning. I got so I could sense the pad. Look around at the brush, know where the footing was. We made good time, and by afternoon we could see the village ahead. As we moved closer, Yolo seemed somehow to become wary, and his head snapped in all directions at the slightest sound. But finally, he led us into the clear, flanked by huts on all sides. What few natives we saw backed away and disappeared at the sight of us.
They're more frightened of us than we are of them, Dan. Smile. My smile, show them we're friendly.
Over there. Hut, my family. We go there.
You go on. Tell them we're friends.
You'll know what to do. What we do is much more important. Just smile now. And don't panic.
In here. This hut. You go in. Hut all empty. You go in.
Come on, Dan.
I hope you know what you're doing.
They'll see we didn't come to harm them. Once they're sure of that, they'll come back. Come on inside.
Yeah. Just keep Yolo handy, that's all.
Don't worry about Yolo.
Yolo! Yolo, come back here. Look at that. Run out on his first chance to get some back here, you dirty...
Who, Dan? Let him go. He did his job. Now just calm down.
What are you, a brave man?
It's just that I've been through this kind of thing before. Natives always run fast. They may steal back to take a look at you. If you convince him you didn't come to destroy him, you're all right.
Yeah, well, I think you're nuts.
Well, I'm not. Now, come on, lie down. Take it easy, Juan. I'll keep watch. Dan, we don't have a thing to worry about.
I didn't expect to sleep, but I must have. Because when I opened my eyes again, it was dusk. The brush was alive with sounds, but there was another sound, a rumble of voices out in the clearing. Voices that seemed to come closer to the hut. Matthews stood in the doorway, looking out.
You wake, Dan?
Yeah.
Some of the natives are coming back. It's all right. You stay inside. I'll go out and meet them.
Don't you let them in here.
No, they won't come in. Just stay where you are. And don't make it tough for us. White man, one big friend. You see? Good. The white man, no knife, no gun. One big friend. Want to meet chief. Meet chief. Head fellow. Make friends.
I stood there with blank faces as Matthew did his great white father act. I took it as long as I could. Blazed away over there. They ran, but I just couldn't stop shooting.
Stop it, you crazy fool! Stop it!
I got him out of here, didn't I?
Give me that gun, Tom. What's the matter with you? You hadn't done anything. It wouldn't have hurt you. You're nuts.
I told you I thought it was a lousy idea. I didn't ask to come here, you know. Give me back my gun.
Here. You set us back days and weeks. I suppose you meant to, but I've worked a long time to get ready for this trip, and you just blew it with half a dozen bullets that you've never been fired.
All right. Tell me all about it on the way back, Cat.
We're not going back.
We're not sitting here.
No, we'll have to go on to the next village and hope we make it before the news of what you did reaches there.
No, I know you're nuts. If you're smart, you'll clear out of here with me.
Dan, now come on. Just settle down. All right. Now, we've made a bad start. We'll start over.
I'm going back. Get used to it.
You can help me if you stay here.
I don't want to help you.
If you give it a real chance, this could do you a lot of good, too. Dan, I've got to stay here. I want to. This book's important to me.
Don't tell me what's good for me.
All right, Dan. Have it your way. Go back. I can't stop you.
That's right. You know, I think you're right, brother. I think you've got to stay here.
Well, that's one thing we agree on.
Yeah. Yeah. I sort of like thinking of you out here. It's such a stinking place.
All right, Dan. You've made your point. I think I'll check the supplies.
You never get that far. Mr. Matt, one fine head, huh?
Good Lord, Dan. Oh, don't.
All right, you book, brother. felt good. Good. Because now all I had to hate was the idea of him. My nerve held until I got to the part about his head. I couldn't do it. All night long, I tried to find a nerve, but I couldn't. By morning, I picked him up, hauled him out into the brush. There wasn't a sign of life. I dug a grave, crammed him into it, pulled the thicket back over it. Would make a good story. Everyone would figure him for a hero's death, and that's how he got his. At the hands of headhunters. 2 days later, Matthew's weary brother, Bramble, stressed and sick with grief, stumbled into Cass's plantation and told the sad news.
Poor devil. It must have been horrible.
Oh, it was awful. You don't know how awful.
Take it easy, son. I know how you feel. But it was his life. He was doing what he believed in.
I want to go back. I want to get a party and go back, clean them all out to what they did.
I know. But you won't. I won't let you. I tried to stop Matthew. I've got to stop you.
I'm so tired.
And you'll get rest. A long rest. Then we'll talk about plans. Don't try to think now.
No, it's no use. I can't help him now. Any more than I could help him then.
Don't beat yourself, son. You did everything you could. I thought Yola was the answer. But I guess
Yolo. He ran as soon as we hit the village.
And he didn't show up when the trouble started?
No. He headed back here like he was supposed to.
I told him to stay in the background. He was supposed to be there when you and Matthew needed him.
He isn't here? He didn't come back?
They reverted to type. They do sometimes. I thought I was giving my boys some protection.
Cass, I think I'll go lie down. I feel sick.
Sure.
Sure.
You're come back. You're powers, go on down to them.
You're there, Mr. Kent. You're there all the time. No, you're lying. You're lying. I saw you run. No, Mr. Kent. No. You're stay. You're bring back Mr. Matt. Come. You see.
Got his head. Daniel, you said...
Head all right. Body dead. All shot. Mr. Dan, no? All shot.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you A Good Thing by Kathleen Height, starring Anthony Barrett as Daniel and John Daner as Matthew. Featured in the cast were Herb Butterfield as Cass and Jack Crucian as Yolo. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens.
Next week.
You are living in a new and fabulous land, surrounded by all that is generous and kind, while your hosts, heedless of your pleas, are planning, as is the custom of their country, to kill you in a strange and terrible manner.
So listen next week when Escape brings you a fantastic adventure in The Voyages of Sinbad. Tomorrow night, CBS Radio Suspense stars Ronald Colman in Vision of Death. It's a thriller-diller, well calculated to keep you at the edge of your chairs from beginning to end. Also tomorrow night, and most of these same CBS radio stations, don't miss the initial performance on the Lux Summer Theater. William Holden stars in Maxwell Anderson's High Tour to raise the curtain on Lux Summer Theater's new series. This is Roy Rowan speaking. Remember, America now rides to the tune of 25 million auto radios and listens most to the CBS radio network.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Living in a new and fabulous land, surrounded by all that is generous and kind, while your hosts, heedless of your pleas, are planning, as is the custom of their country, to kill you in a strange and terrible manner.
Listen now as Escape brings you the fantastic story of The Voyages of Sinbad.
It is related that there lived in Baghdad a poor man called Sinbad the Porter, who earned his living carrying loads upon his back and head. One day, as he was sweating and staggering in the great heat, he passed the door of a house which to him seemed to belong to a rich merchant. Wearily, Sinbad the Porter set his load on the ground. He sank onto a bench near the door. He marveled at the scent of air and the sounds of birds from within the garden. And after a few minutes, the door opened and a slave came toward him and bade the porter follow. And they went in and entered a great hall.
Welcome. Be at your ease. Will you allow me to ask your name and your trade?
Oh, master, I am called Sinbad the Porter, and I carry heavy loads for light trading.
Porter, your name is the same as mine, for I am called Sinbad the Sailor. I requested you to come here, for I saw you sitting outside my door, and your weariness and misery touched me.
Oh, master, in the name of Allah, do not blame me for my grief.
There is no need to be ashamed. There's no shame in poverty. When you have heard all my adventures, you will understand what trials I have had to undergo to purchase the wealth you see about you, with strange and terrible labors, with calamities and misfortunes which are hardly credible. Seat yourself by my side, partake of the food and wine you see about you, and I shall relate to you my extraordinary voyages. Then perhaps you will have more faith in your own destiny, which, unknown to you, has been written, and as it is written, must inevitably come to pass. You must know, O honorable porter, who bears the same name as myself, that upon the death of my father, I found myself possessed of a considerable fortune which I spent in the accustomed excesses of youth. And when I found that my purse was nearly empty, I determined to travel. And going to the market, bought myself a lading of varied merchandise which was carried on board a ship just starting from Baghdad with other merchants. We made excellent time across the seas, trading to great profit from island to island, until one day, in mid-ocean, a tempest came upon us, and the great seas broke our ship to pieces and washed all who were aboard into the gulfs of the water. Thanks to Allah, I found the plank, and clinging to it for several days, found myself thrown more dead than alive upon the beach of an island. Undoubtedly, he is a stranger to our land. See how he dresses?
He is from some unfortunate ship that has foundered beyond. Allah have mercy on his soul. He's alive. Oh, stranger, we thought you dead and were about to carry your body for burial.
Water. I shall die if I do not have water.
Quickly, carry him to the house.
And this they did, and offered me food and water. Until, having recovered, I was taken to be presented to the king, who received me with great joy, for I was a stranger, and it was the custom to behave in that fashion. And he said,
Sinbad, your escape has been a miraculous and wonderful story. Nevermore shall you want for that which you have lost. I've instructed the Grand Wazir to give you a sum of money and presents of your choosing.
I thanked the king, and because in his court I had seen a woman both noble and beautiful, with whom upon sight I had grown to love, I begged for her hand in marriage. This gift he granted me, and gave us a palace with servants and a following which was truly royal. I lived in the calmness of supreme joy for many months, and then I nourished the hope that I could leave the city and return to Baghdad. Here, then, was the beginning of the dreadful event which overtook me. I returned to my wife after presenting my plea to the king, and in my heart was a foreboding heavy and evil.
Oh, Sinbad, my treasure of treasures, what has befallen that you should show such unhappiness?
I spoke to the king within the hour.
And is this reason for tears?
And more. I have not spoken of it to you, my love, but of late I cherished the hope that we might return to my homeland, to Baghdad. I long for it. Both day and night, it never leaves me. I spoke of this desire to the king, and he turned a deaf ear.
Oh, you should have spoken of this to me before you went to the king. Perhaps you have angered him.
No, but...
Oh, I know. It is the custom. You are now a citizen of the land. No citizen may leave it. Ah, but be of good cheer, my treasure. Here we may live out our lives fruitfully and in great joy. Come, I have a red bird to show you. He was caught only this morning.
But I could not rid my mind of the fears which grew one upon the other. I was virtually a prisoner in the land. And then one day, my neighbor's wife died, and as he was my friend, I went to him and tried to console him.
It is Allah's will, and I shall perish for it.
Do not grieve more than is lawful, O my neighbor. Soon the agony will become softer, and Allah will find you another wife. May he prolong your days, my friend.
How can you say that?
Why, it is the truth.
How can you wish me a long life when you know that I have but 1 hour to live?
1 hour? Why do you speak in that way? What gloomy presentiments are these? Surely you would not think of killing yourself.
Is it possible that you do not know the customs of our country?
Why, I'm confused, oh my friend. What custom is this?
It is a rule here, a law, that every husband must be buried alive with his dead wife, and every wife buried alive with her dead husband.
But this cannot be.
In 1 hour's time, I shall be committed to the earth with the body of my wife.
As Allah lives, the custom is detestable. You must refuse. The very thought of such a thing is...
It is the custom. Every man must conform to the custom of our ancestors. Now I bid you farewell, for I must prepare myself for what is to come.
And as I stood in his house, the friends and relations of my neighbor gathered, formed a procession, and the funeral went forward. The woman's body was placed in an open casket, dressed in her most beautiful garments and wearing the chief of her jewels. And the husband walked beside the coffin. We all proceeded with slow steps towards the place of burial. And the man Abdul, who had befriended me at the shore, explained what was to happen.
There, Sinbad, where the stone cover is being lifted, it covers a well of great depth.
That is where they lower the body?
Yes, and afterwards the husband will be put in.
He will surely die if there's no escape.
None. A large jar of water and 7 loaves will go with him. Then the stone cover will be replaced. As it is written, so must it be.
Look, He suffers this to be done with no complaint. It would be useless. Slowly, my neighbor was lowered into the well. And then, as Abdul had spoken, the stone cover was replaced, and we all returned whence we had come. I was sick with fear at what I had seen. In all my travels, never had I witnessed so barbarous a custom. And though my love for my wife was great, my fear was greater. The only consolation I could find was in the thought that I should be the first to die, and therefore I would not suffer the burial alive. But this consolation was vain. For a short time afterwards, my wife fell ill of a strange malady. You will be well again. Oh, my love.
No. No, never again. I'm so weak. The day becomes night.
My love, my treasure, do not speak in this way. I have sent for the highest physicians in the land. They will bring ointment with which to cure you. My jewel, you must live. You must.
Where are you? Sinbad. Sinbad.
She lingered on for a little time, and then, in spite of all the cares I could give, she died. My grief and horror knew no bounds, and I had no doubt as to my fate when the king came to visit me and consoled me over my approaching end. Oh, Sinbad, I grieve for you, as do your true friends, master. My eyes have overflowed with weeping until they have become dry. There is nothing left for me but to beg at least for my own life. This cannot be. But I am a stranger. It is not just that I should have to suffer by your law. Is not my loss, the loss of my wife, sufficient agony to bear?
My true friend, it is the custom, the law, that I shall walk beside you in the procession and weep with you, for I am exceedingly fond of you, Sinbad.
And so it was done. We came to the well beside the mountain which overlooked the sea, and my dear wife's body was lowered into it. And then, in spite of my struggles and lamentations, ropes were fixed under my arms, and tying a jar of water and 7 loaves of bread to my back, they began to lower me into the well. Farewell! Oh, Sinbad, farewell! No, I do not deserve this. I cannot die like this. No! Their voices came from a greater and greater distance, echoing the mournful wail about me, until the sounds became lost in the blackness. Down, then deeper was I lowered, and then I reached the bottom. The rope end was released from above, and I saw the light of the opening disappear as they replaced the great stone cover and went their ways. I was alone in that fearful underground place. Alone, with only the dead for my companions.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, smart young ladies over 18 who are style conscious and love their country will find that they look first-rate in the uniform of the United States Army or Air Force. Ask at your nearest recruiting office and find out which of the many fascinating openings fits you best. Enlist and serve with honor. Defense is everybody's job. And now, back to Escape.
I stood for long moments after the stone cover had been replaced over the well. And then my eyes became accustomed to the semi-darkness, and I took note of this mortuary cave, which I found to be strewn with old and new bodies. It filled me with indescribable horror. But being determined not to die out of hand, I made careful inspection of the cave. It was very high and stretched further than the eye could reach. and I noticed that many precious jewels and ornaments of gold and silver rested in countless numbers upon the ground. These, I realized, were the useless possessions of the dead. For 2 or 3 days I lived thus, ever searching for a way out, until I heard the stone cover of the wall being removed and a woman's body was lowered in its coffin. She, in turn, was followed by her mortal husband. I heard his cries of fear as he descended.
Oh, have been merciful. I do not wish to die. Please. Oh, have been merciful. I do not wish to die. Please.
And as with myself, the rope settled down after him and the stone cover was replaced. At first, he did not see me, and I saw that he was a huge and powerful man. He fell to the ground and beat himself in the face and stomach with his fist. Hear me, your friend.
Who is there? Answer me for the love of Allah. Who is it? I cannot see you. Who are you? Do not come nearer.
Be in peace, oh, my friend. I am but Sinbad the sailor who was put into this place but a few short days ago.
You are human? You are alive, but I thought all who came here died.
The bread and water gives us nourishment for a little while. In that time we may seek an escape.
There is no escape. It is Allah's will. I curse the woman I married that she should bring me to such an end.
No. Speak gently of her, friend. It is more the fault of yourself than hers. You should have seen to it in life that this horrible thing, this law, would be abolished.
It is the custom. No man can stop it. It is the custom.
With these words, he covered his head with his arms and rocked to and fro, weeping and crying out against his destiny and his departed wife. I withdrew for him. For it suddenly came to me that in this brute I would have much to fear. I had eaten and drunk sparingly, but my wants were little when compared with the girth of the stranger. And therefore I hid my remaining food and water and resolved to use them only in a most secret manner. But after the passing of 2 days, I knew that my companion had eaten his 7 loaves with huge appetite and was watching me to discover the hiding place of my own stores.
We are brothers, O Sinbad. Give me but a slice of your bread, else I must starve.
There is but enough left for myself to give to you will hasten my death as well as your own.
Then tell me where you have concealed it, that I may better imagine the taste of bread and water, even though I may not share it.
And then, in an unguarded moment, he discovered the place where I had concealed my poor scraps and dregs of water. With a mighty lunge, he tore all from me, and like a wild beast began to devour the food. Wait! You leave nothing for me!
Oh, what fool are you, then? But live in peace with the knowledge that I did not have to wring it from you.
I saw then that I should have to kill this man at the earliest moment. For in his eyes I perceived a madness that would mean a more dreadful death for me than starvation. I left him then and went to search for a weapon with which to defend myself. And amongst the finery and wealth upon the ground, I found a jeweled dagger. And this I hid in my clothes and determined to use when the man again felt the pangs of hunger.
Oh, Sinbad. Oh, good friend, you may tell me. I promise upon my word that I shall share with you. There is more bread, more water. You've hidden it in another place. Give me but a scrap, a morsel, I beg you.
There is no more. We must lie down and die.
Oh, I know you have more. You do not suffer as I do. Tell me, for the love of Allah.
There is no more.
Oh, if another day passes, I shall die. Hear me, O Sinbad. Share with me your remaining food, and together we shall prolong our lives.
I have no more. You devoured the last of it.
You lie, you lie.
I speak the truth.
You lie. You're choking me.
His hands tightened about my throat. And as I felt my senses departing, I summoned all my strength to withdraw my dagger from its place and plunged it into his body. With a great sigh, he fell away from me and to the ground, where he died. And once more, I was alone with the dead. 3 days and more passed. My food and water came to an end, and I gave myself up to Allah's will. It was then that I heard a noise of living breath and a movement as of steps somewhere in the deeper recesses of the cave. A great hope grew in me, for here was another being like myself, and I saw a dark shape huddled against the wall. Who is it? Who? Who are you?
Oh, have mercy, oh master, mercy. I am old and frail. Have mercy.
I did not see you lowered into the cave.
Nay, I was not. I come from the outside.
The outside? There's an escape from this place.
Yes.
Then why have you come here?
In my wickedness, I seek to welcome those who are fallen in here. I beg of you, do not kill me for it. I am old and weak, and the treasures can do the dead no good.
No, I will not kill you, but you must lead me from this place.
I would gladly, but my age is upon me. I'm too weak. I must rest.
No. Now, for unless I reach food and drink, I shall surely die.
Then perhaps, for I perceive that you are strong in limb, perhaps you would carry me, for my weight is but that of an autumn leaf.
This will I do. Oh, good old man, climb up on my shoulders and lead me the way from this accursed place. And to my great joy, he did as I bade him. And after traveling countless passages, we came upon a hole which had been burrowed in the earth, and thence into the open air. About me were trees bearing the most succulent of fruits, and a silver stream was at my feet. I made to put the old man down to sate my hunger and thirst. But he did not move. Rather, he pressed his thighs more tightly around my neck and weighed down upon my shoulders with all his weight. And a great fear took me. I tried to throw the old man to earth, but he replied by pressing my throat until I was half strangled. And then he kicked me in the stomach until I got up.
Now, take me to the tree over there, for I am hungry. I desire to pluck of the fruits upon it. Go!
You're strangling me.
Go! Then perhaps I shall allow you to feed as befits a beast of burden.
All that day and night stayed upon my shoulders, and I was no better than a beast of burden. In the morning I was aroused by a great kick and urged on to find his breakfast with blows from his fists and feet. I had never suffered such humiliation of spirit or discomfort of body. I could find no way to rid myself of him, and I cursed the virtuous impulse which had led me to help him. Rather, I thought I should have remained in the cave to die in peace. And then one day, after weeks of servitude, I found a good.
What is the purpose of that strange object lying before the tree over there?
It is a good, old man.
A good? What manner of thing is this?
It has many uses. In my land, it is a receptacle for wine.
Wine? You speak with strange words, Sinbad. What is wine?
Wine? It has been long since I tasted of it, but it is a sensation so delicate that one's senses cannot encompass the pleasure brought about by its use.
How is it made?
With the grape?
Then you must make me wine, Sinbad. Go pick up the gourd and make me wine.
and I saw in his command an idea. Yet I did as I was bidden. I squeezed the grapes of a prolific vine into the gourd and allowed it to ferment, and when the fermentation had ceased, he ordered me to taste of it to test its quality.
Well, Sinbad?
It is very fair, old man.
And you drank it all yourself? Give me the gourd, slave!
Whereupon he carried the wine to his lips and drank it to the last drop and threw the gourd far up among the trees. Soon the wine began to work on his brain. First he danced and jigged on my shoulders and then half collapsed with slack muscles. With a rapid movement, I threw the old man to the ground, then fell upon him and smashed his skull to pieces with a rock. And thus he died. May Allah have compassion upon his soul. I made my way to the shore, where destiny willed I should find a party of sailors who had disembarked from an anchored ship to hunt for water and fruit. On hearing my tale, they marveled and explained that I had been a captive of the old man of the sea, that I was the first who had not been strangled. Then they took me to their ship, where the captain received me kindly, and we set sail. And after many days and many adventures, whereby I increased my wealth, I arrived once again in Baghdad, and brought unto myself this place where we sit together.
Allah is good. How marvelous are your tales.
Now, my friend Sinbad the porter, consider the labors which I have accomplished, and the difficulties which I have overcome, and tell me if your estate of porter has not made for a more tranquil life than that which destiny reserved for me.
As Allah is with you, my master, I no longer regret my station. For all your riches, I could not endure such as you have described.
Ah, my friend, and neither shall you have to.
And Sinbad the sailor ordered fine garments brought to Sinbad the porter. And when he was clothed in these, he gave him pieces of gold and appointed him to be his major domo, so that the two lived together in perfect friendship and joy.
Escape has brought you The Voyages of Sinbad, adapted and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring Ben Wright as Sinbad. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns, Ted DeCorsia, Whitfield Connor, Herb Butterfield, Parley Bear, Amanda Blake, Georgia Ellis, Larry Thor, and Kurt Martell. The music for Escape was composed by Rimsky-Korsakov and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are in command of a ship sailing with sealed orders into an ocean fraught with danger, while the enemy whom you seek is lying in wait for the moment when they will close in and strike, leaving you no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story of adventure on the high seas. Tomorrow night, Van Heflin stars on Suspense's thrilling production, The Case of Marie Celeste, in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Van Heflin stars as a mass murderer on a ship at sea. Remember, it's tomorrow night on most of these same CBS radio stations. Another hair-raising episode of Suspense. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, John Lund, as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, brings you Colorful Mystery Tuesday night. This is the CBS Radio Network. Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy have trapped one of Prince Baccarati's spies in a sub-basement in Jupiter City. Cautiously, the spy presses a concealed button and slips through a secret opening.
Commander, there he goes. No, it's no use, Happy. We can never break it down.
That's right, Corey. You can't escape.
Sirkin's voice is coming from that speaker up there. Sirkin, listen to me.
You listen to me. I'm getting off this planet, Corey. Prince Baccarati tipped me off that a guided missile has been launched toward Jupiter City. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Target Jupiter. It's Saturday, gang, no school, and here's a bunch of Space Patrollers who have real big plans for this weekend. They're packing up for a camping trip out on the mountains. In go the tents. In goes the hiking equipment. Yes, sir, they're packing power and energy now with a big case of bite-sized Rice Checks and bite-sized Wheat Checks, those super cereals that help us supercharge you. And, gang, not only are Rice Checks and Wheat Checks the best-tasting cereals in the universe, but no other cereal, flaked or puffed, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. Nourishment that adds up to more zip and bounce and sparkle for you. And Space Patrollers, September is Better Breakfast Month. So now's the time to start pulling up to your table every morning and having yourself a better breakfast with bite-sized Rice Checks or bite-sized Wheat Checks. They're off, power-packed and ready for anything. They had their bite-sized checks today. Now, how about you? And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Target Jupiter. Commander Corey has Prince Baccarati's chief henchman, Dr. Malengro, in custody on the planet Terra, following his capture on one of Saturn's moons. Baccarati managed to escape while Buzz and Happy were rescuing Malengro from a perilous situation into which Baccarati thrust the brilliant but corrupt Malengro. Following Commander Corey's instructions, Major Robertson is preparing to give Dr. Malengro a brainograph test to learn details of Baccarati's defenses on Planet X. Now, in the commander's central office, Cadet Happy is carefully adjusting the spaceophone receiver while Buzz reviews the few known facts about Baccarati's defenses.
I think this ought to do it, Happy.
Are you all ready to give Malengro the brainograph test, sir?
Yes, why we now have enough key questions here to bring out most of Malengro's knowledge of Baccarati's weapons. And also, if we're lucky, Baccarati's immediate plan.
Yeah, I guess Malengro knows just about everything Baccarati plans to do.
Oh, by the way, did you pick up that signal again, the one for me from outer space?
Oh, no, sir, not again.
If it was a patrol ship, they would have used one of the regular relay frequencies. They would have reached me through regular communication. Well, shut off the spacephone. Let's go down to the brainograph chamber.
Yes, sir.
Calling Commander Corey at Terra headquarters.
There it is, sir.
Prince Baccarati on Planet X calling Commander Corey at Space Patrol headquarters, Terra.
Baccarati?
Let's see what he's up to now. Corey here. Go ahead, Baccarati.
Just listen, Corey. This is a warning and an ultimatum. I want Dr. Malengro released immediately.
That sounds a little ridiculous, Baccarati. Not long ago, you tried to kill him just so you could escape.
I'm not speaking out of sentiment, Corey. Malengro has information about Planet X that would be inconvenient for you to know. I'm warning you, unless you put Dr. Malengro on the spaceophone and assure me that he will be returned to Planet X, I'll destroy Terra.
Yes? How?
This is no bluff, Commander. I can blast the guided missile into Terra and wipe out the capital of the United Planet. And I'll do it.
You do that just to get Malengro back?
Whether he comes back or not is up to you. If he goes under the brainograph, I'll blast Terra apart before you can use that information against me.
What are you going to do, sir? There's no use appealing to his reason or decency. Baccarati, do you take my word that Malengro has not been given a brainograph test?
You might lie to me to save Terra. Bring Malengro to the spaceophone. I want to hear it from him.
All right, Baccarati, I'll get him. Come on, Happy. Let's go over to the security lab and have Major Robertson release Malengro. Robbie.
Oh, Commander. I'm glad you're here.
Robbie, I just heard from Baccarati. We're going to blast Terra with a guided missile unless we return Malengo to Planet X immediately.
I'm not sure that's possible.
You started the treatments already?
Well, no, sir. We didn't have a chance to start.
Well, why? What's wrong?
Malengo's in a deep coma, Commander. He evidently had some chemical concealed on him. Dr. Stevens and I have been working on him, trying to bring him to. Nothing we've tried has had any effect. He's practically in suspended animation, sir.
How's he going to talk to Baccarati?
He can't. Well, come on. Let's go back and give the news.
It's a trick, Corey. You're lying to me.
I'm not lying, Baccarati. Dr. Malengo has put himself into a state of suspended animation.
Ah, then he outwitted you, Corey. You might as well turn him over to me.
Suppose I refuse.
I'll carry out my threat to destroy Terra.
If I send out a ship with Malengo on it, will you guarantee its safe return?
You mean you'll accept my word?
I'll have to under the circumstances.
I can't afford that luxury myself, Commander. How do I know you won't try to trick me?
If you don't trust me, how are you going to get Malengo back?
Put Dr. Malengo in a spacesuit and drop him out in space. I'll give you precise instructions. My men will pick up Malengo when we are certain those space patrol ships are around.
All right, Baccarati. Let's have the space coordinates. I'll return Malengo myself.
True to his word, Commander Corey has Dr. Malengo placed in a spacesuit. And then he and Happy drop the unconscious man off in space as directed by Baccarati and head back towards Terra.
I sure wish we'd got some information from Malengo while we had him. Maybe Baccarati couldn't have destroyed Terra after all.
Maybe not. But I couldn't place thousands of people in danger just to hold Malengo.
Major Robertson, Terra headquarters, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Major Robertson to Commander Corey.
Corey here. Go ahead, Robbie.
We just picked up a brief message from Baccarati. He picked up Malengo.
Good. But keep all space patrol ships on the alert on the Terra perimeter. We can't trust Baccarati.
Right, Commander. Well, we just received some interesting information from Jupiter headquarters. Within the past 12 hours, 7 of Baccarati's spies have left Jupiter City.
Do you know where they went?
Well, 2 went to Saturn. 1 seems headed for Venus. The other 4 are still being tailed by our agents.
What about Baccarati's men on Terra?
No activity. At least among those we know about.
Now, those 7 who left Jupiter, are they the only known spies on that planet?
Oh, no, sir. There's 1 more still in Jupiter City. And there are 3 in Kepler City.
Well, that man's still in Jupiter City. Who is he?
Rupert Zirkin. He claims to be a purchasing agent for Outer Planet Space Lines. And in the last year, he's paid out 200,000 credits to manufacturers.
I see.
The odd part of it is that Outer Planet hasn't placed that much business with Zirkin.
But Zirkin is with Outer Planet Lines.
Yes, a minor official in the purchasing department. Outer Planet Space Lines is on the up and up, all right. They voluntarily showed their books to our agents.
And Zirkin is using Outer Planet Lines as a cover for someone else. Obviously, Baccarati.
The way I've got it figured, Commander. The president of the company wanted to discharge Zirkin, but our agents persuaded him to give him more rope.
Good. Happy and I are going to Jupiter City. I want to find out what's keeping Zirkin in town when Baccarati's other spies have left.
A few hours later, in Jupiter City, Commander Corey reviews the files on Rupert Zirkin and talks to the agent who has been watching the spy. Now, in civilian clothes, Buzz and Happy are strolling through a small park in the pleasant residential section of Jupiter City.
Well, that's Zirkin's apartment right across the street, Happy, on the ground floor on the left.
Nice place. Not too fancy.
It's just the sort of place a man with Zirkin's position in the spaceship company should have.
Now, the man's coming around the corner. And from the way he's stepping it off, he's in a hurry.
It's Zirkin. Apparently his visit to the Technoplast labs was a success. Let's find out. Yes? Mr. Zirkin?
Yes, what can I do for you?
I'd like to talk to you inside, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm rather busy, but come in.
Thanks. Come on, Zirkin.
Now, what was this in regard to, Mr.
Corey? You're with Outer Planet Space Lines, is that right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm working on an important deal for them right now. So if you'll please be brief, I'll appreciate it.
Of course. The deal involves Technoplast Labs. You've just come from meeting with their production supervisor, Franklin Delaport, I believe.
Yes.
You discussed the purchase of 8 tons of Vetafoil, is that right? I was under the impression that my meeting with Delaport was a private business matter, Mr. Corey.
Commander Corey of the Space Patrol. I assume you're aware that the government authorization you showed to Mr. Delaport was a forgery. Outer Planet Space Lines has never applied for a permit to buy Radafoil.
Just a minute.
You know what Radafoil is, don't you?
Not exactly.
You're a purchasing agent. Don't you know what you're purchasing?
I buy thousands of different items and materials. I do it by lot number, by name, by code.
All right, Happy. Tell Mr. Sirkin what Radafoil is.
It's the only known substance that'll confuse viewscope beams. A spaceship covered with Radafoil will bounce viewscope beams back in all directions and at reduced frequencies. Frequencies that the ordinary viewscope can't detect.
All right, Sirkin. Who do you know that would be interested in obtaining a large quantity of that substance?
I don't run Outer Planet. Take it up with the top brass.
I already have, Mr. Sirkin. Outer Planet has no plans involving the use of Radafoil.
I don't understand.
You're working for someone else besides Outer Planet. You've used several 100,000 credits belonging to someone else to buy materials in the name of Outer Planet. I want to know who put up that money. Is it Prince Baccarati? Come on, is it? We know you're one of Baccarati's spies. You can save yourself a lot of trouble by telling us the whole story.
All right, Commander. I guess it's no use.
You and the other spies have been trailed ever since we picked up some evidence at Baccarati's communications center on Saturn's sixth moon. How do you contact Baccarati?
In the sub-basement. The space aquarium. All the records are there. I'll show you.
All right, Sirkin. Take us down there. Watch him happen.
There's a concealed door here.
Go on in, Sirkin.
You'll find most of the evidence in those filing cabinets.
Uh-huh. Where's the spaceophone?
There's a panel in this wall.
Another door.
And it's my way out.
Grab him, Happy.
You're too late, Commander.
Happy, out the other door, quick.
It's closing.
No, it's too late. Look for that secret patch on the side wall.
It's not very well hidden. You can find it, but it won't do you any good.
Sirkin's voice coming from that speaker up there.
Sirkin, listen to me.
No, you listen to me. You can't escape, Corey. The release mechanism works only from my fingerprints. You can stay in there, or the entire city is destroyed.
What are you talking about?
You probably know about Prince Baccarati's agents leaving Jupiter City, don't you?
Yes, what about it?
Prince Baccarati tipped us off that he was blasting a guided missile into the city at 1500 hours Universal Star Time. That's less than half an hour from now.
A guided missile? Where's he launching it from?
One of Jupiter's moons. By this time, it's already on its way. And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Here's a salute to the famous jet plane assigned to the vital Air Force mission of defending America's homeland, the F-94C Starfire, built by the Lockheed Aircraft Corporation, Burbank, California. Now, in just a moment, you'll hear from Tony LaVere, test pilot on the Starfire. Within seconds after warning, this radar-controlled interceptor can be off the ground and streaking to 45,000 feet or higher. Packing 48 rockets, it can fly and fight in sunshine or pitch darkness at speeds of more than 600 miles an hour. On landing, the Starfire can be brought to a quick stop by a parachute, which pops from its tail. And now, Tony LaVere.
You know, good health is important to a test pilot, and I have to stay in top condition. I get lots of rest and eat plenty of good food. That's why I like a good cereal for breakfast, like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They have real energy and they taste swell. Why don't you try them?
No other cereal, puff, or flake contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Get some at your grocers today. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, Target Jupiter. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have been locked in a sub-basement on Jupiter by one of Prince Baccarati's spies, who has told Buzz that a guided missile has been released from one of the Jupiter moons and will strike the city at 1500 hours. Now, with less than 30 minutes in which to save the city from disaster, Buzz and Happy tried desperately to escape from their prison.
It's no use, Happy. What are we going to do, sir? If Sirkin is right, there's a guided missile beelining for Jupiter City right now.
Sirkin won't waste any time getting out of the city. Chances are he's headed for the spaceport.
Maybe one of our agents will grab him, sir, and then he'll tell what's happening to save his own skin.
With half an hour's warning, an ordinary guided missile might be stopped before it hits, but if it's covered with Radafoil, it couldn't be detected.
Do you think Baccarati could have got a hold of some Radafoil already, sir?
That's possible. You know he ordered 8 tons through Sirkin.
Well, we can't take a chance on Circin being caught. We've got to alert the Space Patrol.
Well, then let's start hacking at the walls with that bar, sir. It's the only thing we can do.
Wait, Hap, hold it. Look up there.
Huh? Oh, a ventilator grating.
Right. If we remove that grating, we might be able to crawl through to another part of Circin's apartment.
It'll be a tight squeeze, but give me a boost and we'll try.
As Buzz and Happy pry loose the grating over the ventilator, Prince Baccarati and Dr. Malenzo follow the deadly trajectory of a guided missile on a viewscope screen from a hideout on one of the 12 moons of Jupiter.
It's on course, Your Highness. In 24 minutes, the missile will strike Jupiter City.
It's too bad Circin couldn't get the rest of those 8 tons of radar foil off the pen in time. We could have used it.
Perhaps it's just as well.
You're right, Malengo. Circin wasn't inefficient, as I had hoped. At any rate, the radar foil on this missile will get it through the Jupiter defense perimeter.
Yes, unless a patrol ship gets directly on stern of the missile the way we are, they'll never detect it.
And even if they do, it'll be receding from them. Anything they fire at it from that trajectory will hit Jupiter City, too.
Back in Jupiter City, Buzz and Happy work their way inch by inch through the ventilator pipe. Finally, at a turn in the conduit, Happy calls back to the commander.
I reached the grating, sir. From what I can see, it looks like the main entrance. Good. See if you can force the grating. Yes, sir. Oh, I can't budge it, sir. I keep slipping back into the vent. I've got my legs braced from the turn. I'll hold your feet in my hand. All set. Now, push. I think it's giving way, sir. I did it, sir. I can crawl out now. Good boy. I'll give you a hand.
We're coming out right by the main entrance, Commander.
As soon as you're out, rush for the street, Hap. You can get a surface cab. You can alert Space Patrol headquarters before we reach the space.
Rushing out of Rupert Circin's apartment, Buzz and Happy hail a passing surface cab. Issuing commands through the cab's spaceophone, Buzz alerts the Jupiter Defense Squadron. A few moments later, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are spaceborne over Jupiter in the Terra 5. Simultaneously, around the Jupiter Defense perimeter, viewscopes are trained on the 12 moons. And as computers go into operation, the sensitive space monitors are trained on the 4 moons from which missiles could be successfully launched to strike Jupiter City at 1500 hours. From his spaceship, Buzz establishes contact through space control with several patrol ships. And then, as Happy monitors the viewscope scanner, Buzz checks with the Jupiter City headquarters.
Commander Corey aboard Terra 5, calling Major Robertson.
Robbie here. Go ahead, Commander.
Can you give me a report from Central Analyzer as of 1500 minus 5 minutes?
Oh, sure, Commander. Jupiter moons number 2, 5, 8, and 11 are now possible launching points. All others are eliminated.
Check.
Patrol ships report no objects trajectory from these moons.
There's something funny in this viewscope.
Just a minute, Happy. Go ahead, Robbie.
We received reports of a strange interference signal from several patrol ships beamed toward moon number 4.
What kind of interference?
Well, I can't explain it, sir, except to say it's like a big hole in the viewscope screen. Stars, other planets, everything's blotted out.
A minute, that's just what's happening in our screen.
The effect radar foil would make happen. Robbie, stand by for special orders.
Standing by, sir.
Some unknown object is headed toward Jupiter from moon number 4. We can't locate it exactly because of radar foil interference. No one ship can pinpoint the source. I want all patrol ships to spaceophone a signal when their viewscopes are centered directly on this interference. By combining all the signals, you may be able to compute the exact vector.
I'll relay your instructions, Commander.
With a special signal, each ship of the squadron relays to Commander Corey the estimated center of a blurred viewscope image. And as the data is received, Cadet Happy rapidly computes the trajectory.
Sure hope this works, sir.
Keep working, Hap. We're centering on the target. Stand by to fire space torpedoes.
Standing by, sir.
I've put our ship on the theoretical vector of the guided missile, Hap.
That bright dot in the viewscope should be the guided missile.
Fire number 1.
Oh, that was a miss, Commander. The dot's still there.
Fire 2.
Missed again.
This is our last chance, Hap. If we miss this time, Jupiter City's finished. Fire 3.
We did it. The viewscope is clear.
Not a second too soon, Hap. Did you have a chance to make a record of the trajectory of that missile?
Yes, sir. It's on the Instaphone.
Run it back. We'll find out where it was.
Something went wrong, Malengo.
The missile blew up before it hit Jupiter City. It was 50 miles short of its target.
Malengo, you told me these missiles were foolproof.
The Space Patrol must have hit it, Your Highness.
With the radio foil interference, impossible.
It was sure luck. It can't happen again. We can launch another missile at Jupiter City.
Stop. Wait. They'll expect that. Prepare a missile for Kepler City.
But, Your Highness, we can't hit Kepler City for moon number 4, not till Jupiter revolves into position.
Jupiter revolves very rapidly, Marengo. Get to work. Align the launching mechanism.
But, Your Highness, how about your agents in Kepler City? You don't want to destroy them, do you?
Yeah. They may have information I can use. All right. We'll spaceophone them a warning to leave immediately. But don't tell them.
Meanwhile, Commander Corey has ordered the extra patrol ships to return to their base at Jupiter City. Now, as he and Happy point the long, needle-nosed spaceship Terra 5 toward the capital of the planet Jupiter, a familiar voice booms from the spaceophone.
Major Roberts, Space Patrol Headquarters Terra, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5.
Corey here. Go ahead, Robbie.
Hey, congratulations, Commander. Just heard you intercepted Baccarati's dose from death before it hit Jupiter City.
Thanks, Robbie. I'm keeping regular patrols on the alert, though. He may try it again.
Say, I picked up some information you might be interested in, Commander. Baccarati's agents are leaving Kepler City.
They are?
Yeah, and it seems to be a rush order, sir. What do you make of it?
It's hard to say, Robbie. Wait a minute. His agents left Jupiter City just before he launched that missile.
Maybe Kepler City's next.
It looks like it, Robbie. Hap.
Yes, sir?
Have you computed that missile's trajectory?
Well, I'm not too sure of the results, sir. The radio foil makes it pretty hard to be precise.
Where do you think it came from?
Well, right now, it looks like moon number 4, sir. Although it might be moon number 6.
Let's see the astrogation time.
Yes, sir.
As far as Jupiter City is concerned, it could be even up toward Kepler City.
Well, moon number 6 won't be in the right position for several hours yet, Commander.
I'll check on 4, but I'll order a squadron to patrol 6 just as a precaution. Robbie.
Yes, Commander?
Right now, it looks as though Moon 4 is the launching site. Below the horizon from Kepler City at the moment, but in a few hours it'll be in position. I'm going to order Squadron 3 to accompany me to Moon number 4.
Everything ready, Dr. Malengo?
Yes, Your Highness. I've computed the launching time. It's 18:27 and 43 1/8 seconds.
It's less than 10 minutes. Now, you're sure nothing will go wrong?
It can't, Your Highness. Kepler City will be completely destroyed.
Look. What's that in the viewscope?
A spaceship.
What is it doing over this part of the moon?
Your Highness, it's a space patrol ship.
It's Terra 5. It's Commander Corey.
We're searching for it, Your Highness. I have 60 mile boring to bits.
Malengo, don't fire at him just yet. I have an idea.
Hold at this altitude, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Watch the viewscope carefully. Dr. Roddy's probably got the launching site camouflaged.
Any time now, I could be blasting the missile toward Kepler City, according to my calculations.
If we don't locate the launching site before blast-off, the launching itself can show us where it is.
I've got the space torpedo on the ready, Commander.
With little luck, it'll be close enough to track the missile, whether it's coated with radar foil or not.
Commander, look out! Wow.
That was a space torpedo, Happy.
Yeah, and was it close? Baccarati must have seen us.
Yes, he gave himself away by firing that torpedo. The launching site is on top of that peak.
You're right, sir. I see it now.
Terrific job of camouflage. If I hadn't seen the flash when the space torpedo was launched, I'd have missed it completely.
Commander, look. There's a guided missile rolling out of the tunnel, right up to the launching chute.
I'm getting ready to fire it, Hap. We'll have to blast it. Stand by to fire space torpedo.
Standing by, sir.
Have to get into position before it's launched. Just this one ship after it. We could never locate it with the viewscope.
No, sir. Not with that radar foil on the hull.
Fire, Hap.
Wow.
A direct hit, Hap. It destroyed the missile.
Smoke and rockets, the entire peak is gone. Leveled flat. Well, I guess that takes care of Prince Baccarati for good.
Does it?
Well, doesn't it, sir?
I don't know. I don't know.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Something strange is happening outside Commander Corey's private quarters.
Say, it looks like someone's tiptoeing in.
going through the commander's papers. Who is this ominous intruder? What can he be searching for in the quarters of the Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol? Someone else is coming.
Happy.
Hello, Commander.
Looking for something?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, sir, but I heard you tell Major Robertson that the key to the greatest secret ever to be revealed on Space Patrol is here in your desk. And, well, I just had to know about it, but I can't seem to find it.
Can't you, Happy? Well, maybe I'd better tell you. And you too, Space Patrollers. Believe me, it's really an exciting secret. A secret prize. The biggest prize ever given away to any boy or girl. And here in the desk, the key to that secret prize.
A box of hot Ralston? I don't get it, Commander.
Open the box, huh?
Oh, okay, sir. But I still don't see... Hey, there's a coin in here. A space coin.
Right, Hap. And Space Patrollers, the swell-looking coin that you'll find in every box of hot Ralston is your opportunity to win a gigantic prize that no other boy or girl on Earth has ever owned. So go to your grocer's right away. Get yourself some good hot Ralston, either instant or regular, in the new package with a picture of Cadet Happy or myself on the outside and the handsome space coin inside. Be sure to save that coin. And be sure you're listening to Space Patrol next week, because you're going to find out all about the biggest prize ever given away to any boy or girl.
Next week on Space Patrol, the biggest prize ever given to any boy or girl. Wow. I'm going to get a box of hot Ralston with the swell space coin right away. How about you?
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in a tunnel under the surface of Jupiter's fourth moon looking for Prince Baccarati. Cautiously, they stalk through compartment after compartment in the long, dimly lighted passage.
I think there's another door up ahead here. Where are these compartments I'm in?
Keep air in the tunnel in case either end is open. Judging by the upward slope of the floor, we're not far from the end of the tunnel.
Hit the ground, Happy. It's a blast gun. What do you see?
Stop it right over our heads. Hand me the disintegrator before he fires again.
I dropped it when I hit the ground, sir. It's out of reach.
Keep down, Hap, so he can't see us.
I've got you now, Corey. All I got to do is keep blasting away till I hit you.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story, Return to Planet X, when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Len Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Debris. Other players were Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufeld speaking. Our thanks to the New Jersey State Fair Committee for awarding Space Patrol its coveted Blue Ribbon Award for the outstanding television and radio show of its type. The award will be on display at the New Jersey State Fair September 22nd through October 4th. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story in your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.